Hello, hello. This is the Donbozos podcast, our third episode. My name is Aiden, and of course, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Jeremy. Jeremy, how are you today?
Pretty good. Just finished with the 1K. Played some locals today. Played some locals on Wednesday. A lot of Pokemon this week.
Absolutely, and of course, we are joined here today by some really great friends. First, we have Douglas, who we've mentioned before. Douglas, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. 1K last weekend, and I just came back down from Davis, so a little bit tired, but I'm doing all right.
Yep, and of course we're joined by our friend who also joined us for some locals, Giovanni. He is here. He is a worker at the place we are recording this, Tofu's Trading. So make sure you go check out Tofu's Trading. We'll have links in the description and things like that. Gio, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, Came back from the 1K as well. Yeah. Had to host the weekly today, but pretty good.
Nice. Okay, so today's episode is going to be all about Pokemon. We have our post-rotation coming up very, very soon on Friday, but every shop is pretty much doing post-rotation, except for completely sanctioned shops. But yeah, so we're gonna go over our recurring segment, local recap, which we will all talk about our locals experience for the past week, and then we'll go into our big discussion on post-rotation cards that we will miss the most, as well as up and coming decks that we want to talk about. We got to experience the meta a little bit at our local 1K, and then we'll be talking about EUIC, and then we'll have our closing remarks there. Anything else you guys like to say?
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think that's
pretty much it, right?
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go into our first segment, local recap. This is, of course, the segment where we talk about what locals we went to and how we did very briefly for the past week. I know we didn't have local recap last week, but that's because Jeremy and I were on spring break and we did not go to any locals. But this week, we have a local recap, and all four of us went to the same ones, except for Douglas. He didn't go to the one today here at Tofu's Trading. But we're going to go and jump into Chris's Comics in Fremont, California. Probably, what I say, the sweatiest local in North California. But this time, it was not as sweaty. We only had 8 players, and we still were doing standard rotation. So not Scarlet Violet rotation yet. So D cards are still available. I brought a Turbo Calyrex deck, Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX deck, and it was lots of fun. It had Melanie. I also had Phoebe. If I decide to run into any V-Guard energies or Gudra V-Star to one-shot the Lugias or the Gudras still. It was quite fun. I also had Drapion for the Mew matchup, which came in handy. Beat our friend Julian, who joined us for all of the locals as well. He couldn't be here today. But yeah, so I got second, and that was my run for Chris's Comics. I played into Julian with Mew. I played into Geo on Arcturalon. I actually lost to Geo, and then I also played into another Arcturalon, and that was my run. So I played into 2 Arcturalons and 1 Mew. So I'm not too sure how I feel. Good thing we're getting a rotation soon, but it was kind of fun playing Calyrex and hitting those 280s. Yeah. Jeremy, what about you?
Well, I might have been playing the worst deck in existence. I was playing some Ho-OV but mainly it was just Ho-OV to get energy for Dortons. Yeah, I ran 2 Dortons, and I was just trying to Dorton out like the Raikou Amazing Rare and the Zamazenta one. Let's just say 2 Dortons not enough. I kind of researched them away, and I was just playing Ho-Oh, which was not good. Yeah.
Douglas?
This week I was playing Eternatus VMAX, the poison build though, not the Galarian Wheezing block. I wanted to get some Toxicroaks out of the Galarian Sneasler, but it didn't seem to work out.
Yeah.
I went into Arcturalon, Mew, which I bricked against Mew. That would have been so free.
Yeah.
Yeah, dark type difference. And then the Ho deck.
Yeah.
But you
0-3 all around for you. 0-3.
Zamazenta Amazing Rare is the fighting type.
And of course, Geo, our resident Arcturalon player.
Yeah, woo. Yeah, so I went against Douglas in my first game.
And then you beat me.
And then I played you.
And then you beat
I played against Mewtwo V Union.
Yeah, Joe's Mewtwo V Union. It wasn't it was his list.
It was his list, not the Piper.
Not the Piper list.
Yeah.
But he only ran 1 Miltank. So Geo plays Lost City in his Duraludon deck.
So I Lost City in his.
Yeah, so you saved your V-Star power,
I
right?
I saved my V-Star power specifically for when he brought out the Miltank.
Yeah.
Because I saw that he like outplayed the other guy, the other Duraludon player by just bringing up his Arceus, and they just sat there.
Crushing Hammered the fighting energy.
The fighting energy, and the guy just decked out, and he lost. So I was like, I'll just wait for the milk tank, use my V-Star power, Lost City boss, and just.
And you're running 5 fighting energy.
5 fighting energy.
And a training court.
Yeah.
So 1 training court's all right.
1 training court, but 5 fighting energy.
Yeah. So you're teched out for the
I'm
VTV
teched out
Union.
for the VTV Union. Yeah. So sooner or later I was gonna run into it. So.
Yeah. You finally did.
Yeah. I saw it coming.
And you took the first place. You took the dub.
Place,
which is really not easy at Chris's Comics.
Yeah.
Yes, it was only 8 compared to Jeremy winning with 20, but it's still a win. And it was quite fun. We had the whole clown car with us.
Yeah.
The 5 of us. It was us 4 plus Julian, who couldn't make it today. He's our resident Mew player. Mew and like any other build that he likes to do. Gudra, yeah. He likes his lost. He likes his lost box. He says that he doesn't like it when you don't hit Colress, which makes sense. But yeah, so that's our. That was Wednesday for Chris's Comics. And upcoming, we have Saturday, which is yesterday. And that was the biggest tournament that we were all preparing for. And only one of us got something out of it. It is Card Art's yearly 1K, annual 1K, and it was post-rotation, even though it's only the 9th and rotation happens on the 14th. It wasn't a sanctioned event, so it was the post-rotation 1K. So $1,000 prize pot. The winner, he said, got like 400 in-store credit. So it was really cool seeing all the decks and stuff. And we'll talk about meta and whatnot after our goodbye to D-rotation cards. But let's go ahead and do our local recap. So I'll go ahead and start off. I brought Arceus Armourouge, or as Douglas would call it, Arceus Firefox, or Mozilla Arceus. I don't know. Anything we like to call it. It's a... Oh, let me pull up the Twitter post really quick. But it is a 1/1 line of... Or not 1/1. A 2/2 line of Armourouge. And uses Delphox V, which my brother says the amazing Raikou of Scarlet Violet. And what Delphox V does, it does 120 to the active, and then you lost zone 2 energies attached to Delphox, and it does 120 to a bench Pokemon. So it's the exact same thing as Raikou V, exact same thing as Amazing Rare Raikou, except it's a V Pokemon and you lost some energy. So it's still pretty strong because you can Trinity Nova and attach energies to a random V Pokemon. It doesn't have to be the Delphox, because what Armourouge does is you can move Fire Energy from any of your bench Pokemon to your active. So what you do is you hide the Delphox the entire game, and then when you want to take a 2-prize knockout, because they don't bench Menfi because it's a random Arceus deck, you bring up the Delphox. There's 4 different switch cards in this deck. You bring up the Delphox, you Armourouge the Fire Energy up to the Delphox, and then you take a double knockout, either for game or for a huge prize trade. And I did really like the card and the deck idea. I was practicing a whole lot for the past week and a half. Unfortunately, I didn't start Arceus a single game, so it was really bad. I mean, yes, you can search out Arceus with Nestball or Ultra Ball, but not starting it just feels really bad, because then you're losing either a Charcadet or a Bidoof, or even my Lumineon sometimes. It just felt really bad. And then when you start Delphox, it's so doomed, because then they bench Manaphy, and then Delphox loses to random Lost Fox shenanigans. But yeah, my first round I played against Jeremy actually, and I lost. He drew boss every turn. I got pretty tilted. And then the second game I played into standard Lost Box. It was standard Sky Silstone Lost Box. And I lost because I started Delphox. So he benched Manaphy, and I just lose the game. And then game 3 I played into another Dragonite V standard Sky Silstone Lost Box, and they just bricked. They didn't get Colress. That's the game I started Lumineon. But I was lucky because they didn't get Colress. And the judges really stuck. The game was still close to the end because I started Lumineon. And then game number 4 I played against Regieleki, which is the freest matchup possible, because even though I can't one-shot Miraidons or the Lucky VMAX, the Delphox helps take double KOs. So it makes prize trades really, really huge for my deck. And then I also have Radiant Zard. That's something I forgot to mention. Radiant Zard is really big in these fire decks because I can attack with it early, because the Delphox can move any energy from the bench to the active, so I can charge up energies early. And then the last match before I dropped that 2-3, I played into Lost Box again, and I judged, and I didn't get an Arceus off the judge, and he got 2 Mirages and a Colress. So it was really tilting. So I dropped that 2-3. And we'll go with Douglas next. We'll talk about Jeremy last because he is our big guy. So Douglas, what'd you play?
So my run was a tad bit more exciting. Minus the round 1 bye.
Yeah,
which was nice to have. Round 2 though, I went against the last.
Well, what'd you play?
Oh, I played Gardevoir.
Yeah.
The Aichi/Taiwan list. The 60s seems pretty set, but the difference is instead of 2 jellies, I've been using a choice belt in case I can't find the energies in time.
Yeah.
Which has definitely helped.
Yeah. On the Twitter post, we posted the 4 cards we featured was the God of War EX, obviously, one of the Shining Arcanas, and then we featured the Zacian V with the Sky Seal Stone here on the Twitter post. That is the build you went with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about that build? Did you use it at all?
The Zacian V and the Sky
Yeah.
Seal. I never saw the Sky Seal Stone, but the Zacian V helped me with a lot of bigger kills. I'll mention it when I get to like my match 3, because for my first my first 2 matches, I didn't get to use it purely because the first one, both my Gardevoir EXs were prized in the Gudra Lost Zone matchup.
Ooh.
So
Both EXs.
Both EXs.
Oh my gosh.
So I had pretty much no out again, and he got a Gudra and Melanie onto it. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it was some really spicy tech right there.
So there was a Gudra player.
There was
There were
a lot
Just
of
only one?
think
Wait, there's 2?
There was at least 2, I think.
Really?
I know
Gudra.
there's at least one. I
I didn't know that. I didn't. There was at least one.
There was at least
Okay.
one in the top 8, but I think there was another
Wait, one made top 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We ID'd to like top.
Everyone
8.
slept on Gudra. Huh?
Yeah.
No one talked about it at all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like on all the matchups we were practicing against, like we didn't think about. We should ask Julian to practice against Gudra, huh?
I
Yeah.
think we were expecting a lot of
Lost box.
lost.
I was expecting more Maridons.
That's what I was gonna say too.
Yeah.
But no Maridons, I think.
There's 3 Maridons.
There's 3
3
Maridons,
Maridons.
It's probably because
And they were all the
people
same group.
realized-
It was all one group.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
That was actually something really interesting. I think we were the only group that brought different decks.
Yeah, we were a
Because
diverse
the
group.
Super Sweats, like Noah Ishida's group, I think they all brought Lost Box, but they all brought different versions. I remember Noah had Penny in his deck, which was really cool. I don't know if it was like for like Penny Halucha and then Halucha again, but it was pretty cool. And then there was a Lugia test group,
Yeah.
and Lugia ended up winning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The single strike Lugia.
Yeah.
And then there's 3 players. There's a Maridon test group, and then a lot of like single people coming in. Oh, and then there was the Chun's group, the Chinese group, and they all played different things
Yeah,
too.
they played Lost Box.
Yeah.
And Rapid.
Oh yeah, so sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. So after that, I played against Lost Zone Box. It was our friend Cameron,
Yeah.
and of course,
yeah.
Of course, I didn't have that good of a start. I think that one I did start Zacian, but I managed to just roar the sword and get it out of active, and start all my route shenanigans. But at the end of the day, I had to block an attack with Gardevoir EX, which then made a good target for Sableye.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so my Gardevoir was gone. My other one, I couldn't get up in time, and he took that game. Game 3, however, was the Gardevoir EX mirror.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me hear about this one.
So this one was pretty nice, minus the fact that every time I was hurting because he was playing with the Plasma Freeze Ultra Balls as well.
Oh.
So I see that come down, and it was literally max rarity Gardevoir. I'm sitting here like,
Probably at least 2K.
yeah,
Probably at least 2K
at least
deck.
2K.
Yeah.
SCR Miriam too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
Was he
yeah,
using
pretty
like the SIR Ralts?
No.
He's still using the teleportation burst
the
Ralts?
teleportation. And
Yeah.
That's the optimal.
just because it's way more
Yeah.
optimal than just playing it out for flavor.
Yeah. Obviously, you have to use the refinement though. So I'm guessing he had like the pre-release promos for his refinement.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But he made the mistake of benching 2 Gardevoir EXs and
Oh.
Zacian.
Yeah.
So it was an easy prize trade of like
Just boss.
yeah, boss arena, and then I almost made a mistake by benching my Zacian V and trying to attack with it into
Oh.
Gardevoir.
Yeah.
But instead I didn't and just waited until he had his last Gardevoir up, grabbed the Zacian, and then hit for the last 2 prize cards.
Yeah.
Versus his 1.
So that was game 3, huh? Gardevoir Mirror.
Yeah.
And did you have a game 4?
I did have a game.
Yeah.
4.
What'd you play against?
It was Arcturalodon.
I wonder who that was.
Was that you?
That was
Was
me.
you?
Yeah.
So what was your record after game 3? 1-2. So this is your 1-2 match, and you were 1-2 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. we were
So you're both
one.
1-2. So you have to win it all, both of you. So you play, and I know Gio won that one, right?
Yeah.
And then so that was the end of your run.
No, I think-
and then
I was 2-2 when we played. We were match 5.
yeah.
Match 5. Oh, so what did you play into game 4 then?
What was game 4?
You got 1 buy, so.
Yeah, so
Oh, you got a buy.
Yeah,
So
that's my 2.
so game 5 is game 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So game 5. Yeah.
Game 5 is against me.
So you're 2-2 then.
Yeah, I'm
Because you got a buy.
Yeah.
We were
Okay,
both 2-2.
so now this is the 2-2 match, and we knew that 1-4-2 bubbles, 1-4-2, but that happened to have been Julian.
That was
Julian,
Julian who
yeah,
bubbled, yeah.
because you got 11th.
Yeah.
Right. So you lost to Geo in the Arc Duraludon, and there's not much Gardevoir could do unless you get the Sky Seal play. But then you have to go through a lot of HP, right?
Yeah.
For the
It was.
It's kind of rough. That's
close
pretty
game,
rough.
to be
It's close.
down to-
I feel like it would be. I feel like it would be pretty close. Arcto is kind of iffy on the big hitter matchups.
Yeah.
It's mostly if I start Arceus double turbo,
Yeah.
then I have like a decent shot. But then it's like
Because did he go first? Because if he went first, it's pretty bad for you, huh?
no, I think I went first. I won the coin flip.
Yeah, you
I
did.
remember.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So I went first.
'Cause
So
you got Tails.
I got tails. So
Yeah.
yeah, because I called it. And I started Arceus double turbo. and
Yeah. How come I
passed,
can't
yeah.
start that? What is that?
So then I was like, oh, this is gonna be a
Pretty smooth.
a pretty
game.
smooth.
It's gonna be
game.
smooth for you,
For me,
yeah.
at least,
For him,
but-
it's never gonna be smooth for
Yeah.
Gardevoir. Yeah.
I had the Mirage step as
So
well, 'cause
you also
I-
ended 2-3 then
and then I went
Yeah.
against Lugia for my last round.
for the funsies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I dropped because I was tilted.
Yeah, and that one I won, but I gave it to him because he was in a tie. I'm like, and I'd rather him bubble than me.
Oh, for him to try and bubble
Yeah.
in. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So then we'll have our Geo, your run. You brought. Oh, let me pull it up. Sorry. You brought Arc Duraludon, but with some spice.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, you have the mustard, but the big one you told me to put in was the Choice Belt plus Single Strike Energy to hit the 310 mark. So that kills Gardevoir, and it kills a lot of other things like Regieleki and Mew VMAX. When they Orchid doesn't matter because you have Shred.
Right.
So yeah, big numbers.
Big numbers.
How was your run? What'd you go against?
I went 4-2.
We forgot to put in the Karen's Conviction. He also had Karen's Conviction.
Yeah. So I went 4-2. My first match was against Lost Box. It was like the weakness box is what they call it. I think it's the Raikou and
The Sky Seals.
Zapdos.
Oh, the Lost Dogs.
Lost Dogs.
It has
yeah.
like Zapdos.
It has
Yeah.
Zapdos.
Oh,
It's the guy
oh
you
yeah,
played.
I
yeah.
played him in top 8.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the Sky Seal Stone, like full size Sky Seal. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know some decks are running both Sky Seal and Forest Seal,
Yeah.
but this one only runs Sky Seal because it's full weakness.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
full
bring
weakness, yeah.
Galarian Zapdos for colorless weakness.
And also Mariah.
Yeah.
Rhydon and Arceus, yeah.
And then they have Raikou.
For
Yeah,
Lugia.
And then they have Drapion, obviously. They run the Crown Zenith Zamazenta for the Revenge Kill for 220.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think the rest of that is just Greninja.
And then just
Yeah,
And then
Lost-
Sableye,
Lost
Sable,
Box.
two,
Yeah,
I think it's
Cramorant,
two Crime, two Sableye, four Comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I played that guy my first round.
And then they run the Halucha.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does run the
Yeah,
Halucha.
okay.
Yeah. I lost to him.
So you lost your round
I
one.
lost my round one.
We all lost our round one except for
Except for
Jeremy
Jeremy.
because he played me.
Jeremy and me because I didn't have a.
Oh yeah, you gotta buy first round.
That's a
yeah.
dub, yeah.
You take those up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then second match was UV Max. It wasn't against Julian. It was against someone else.
Was it the kid? I know there was one senior.
Yeah, I think it was the kid.
It was the senior.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he got second at an IC.
Yeah, he had a. I know he had a top 8 Oceania.
He's cracked.
Yeah.
He's pretty.
top
And
eight
he's
was good.
and he's only been playing Mew, right?
Yeah.
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 He-
And his
he has
younger
an-
brother didn't come, but I think his younger brother plays Tina.
Yeah, he has an invite to Worlds.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his dad was the head judge,
head judge,
and he's
yeah.
gonna head judge probably at Worlds too.
Yeah.
Or judge at least.
So I mean, I'll take the loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
cracked.
I'll be honest, it wasn't my best game. Like I kind of threw it. I'm not gonna.
Also,
lie.
I feel like Mew versus Duraludon is 50-50.
It's 50-50.
Okay.
And I started off really good, and then turn 2, I don't know what I was doing. I think
Yeah.
just the nerves got to me. And then, so I lost. Game 3, I played against Lost Box.
Yeah.
Your typical Dragonite one.
Roll them.
I rolled, so I won
Yeah.
that. My next game was against Lugia.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah,
it's free.
so it's
Yeah.
free-
Oh
free
yeah,
bet.
that was the guy who got salty with. So
Yeah.
there was 4 Lugia. There were 4
Five-
Lugia
five
players.
Lugia
There's 5 Lugia. They were all the same group.
Yeah.
They all ran the same deck. And the guy who won was part of that Lugia group, the Lugia player who won. His name is Kian. He came to the
Kian,
shop today,
yes, he
right?
did come.
Super cool guy. Really awesome to talk to. And I remember after they lost to you, he's like, bro, I can't believe there's an Arc Duraludon player. I lost to an Arc Duraludon. And they're like, wait, there's an Arc Duraludon player? And he's like, yeah, he has Single Strike Energy and Choice Spell. And I was just like, oh, I know exactly what he's talking. Because I think there was one other Arc Duraludon player.
Yeah, but he wasn't there or something, right?
Or he wasn't participating, but he was there.
Yeah, he was there,
Yeah.
but wasn't participating.
So it was super funny. I'm like, dude, someone's salty. And I was like, dude, someone's talking crap about your Arc
And I
Duraludon.
was like, I think I know who it is. Yeah. Yeah, he was saying that once I beat him, he's like, this always happens. I go up against an Arcturaldo.
Yeah.
I just lose.
Because they don't have Yveltal anymore, so they can't
Yeah.
do anything. Can they even do anything? I don't think.
I don't think so.
They don't. So I was talking to him, and he's like, yeah, once you power up the Ralladon, it's kind of over.
It's GG, right?
Yeah.
So they have to. So you have to. They have to go first, and you can't. And they have to make sure, and they have to hope that you don't bench a second Arceus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They pretty much have to knock out the Ralladon before I evolve it.
Or that too,
That's
yeah.
which is what he was hoping.
But it's hard if they have mustard,
Yeah.
right? So
I was like, if I do with the evolution, I go for the mustard play and just sacrifice a full prize for.
And then game 5 was against our very own.
Yeah, against Douglas, close game against Gardevoir. Only Gardevoir, thankfully, because I think that's like my worst.
That's your
matchup.
worst matchup
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
And then my last match was against Lugia again.
So free.
Another free match.
And then you bubbled,
And
right?
then I was waiting for the bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that was 4-2 to end it off of,
11th place.
and that was 11th because
Yeah.
your resistance wasn't as good
yeah.
as our friend Julian,
Yeah.
who played Mew. He played the DTE or Choreo Mew. He played against he played against a majority lost box.
Yeah.
And he's told me that he misplayed a whole lot because he doesn't know the matchup a whole lot. He told me he didn't psychic leap at all, as well as totally forgot the numbers about Oricorio when he got crammed or Greninja and he wasn't thinking about that. And Judge and Roxanne is really important. Can't Ultra Ball those away, and he did. But Julian, he made it in top 8. Unfortunately, didn't get past top 8 because he got a game loss for a warped Seal Stone.
Yeah.
For a Seal Stone. But Julian, if you're listening or watching, shout out to you. You did really awesome. You had a great attitude the entire time, and you learned a whole lot. Happy Easter, everyone.
Happy
Yeah.
Easter.
But let's get into our final guy. Top 4 finish. I don't know your record, but you'll tell us soon. With Arc, Tina, Jeremy.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Why'd you bring this deck? Tell us everything.
Well, I've been playing this deck since Lost Origin, so I'm excited that the deck is actually good again. It was really bad against Lugia. I was trying to test everything out. It was nothing helps the matchup against Lugia matchups. So yeah, so I'm happy I can play this deck again and actually being top threat. So for round 1, I played against you.
Yeah.
And then round 2, I played against Joe, who was the control player at Chrysagon.
Oh, yeah. What did he bring?
He brought Gardevoir.
He brought Guardy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He bricked like super hard. He I don't know. He was just benching Ralts. I was just Trinity Novaing for like knockouts because he just couldn't.
You
like,
just
set
sat
up.
with Nova?
Yeah, I just sat with Nova. He couldn't set up, so I was just farming Ralts, and then like eventually I just like won the game.
Yeah.
And then round 2 was round 3 was against Gardevoir, Mewtwo v Union, but he prized.
Oh, someone actually brought it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think both of them brought.
Did Joe bring
I
V-Union
think
too?
he
No, he was. I didn't see any. I think it
Well,
was
it's
just.
probably because he bricked, right?
Either that, or I think he said something about wanting to, but he didn't feel comfortable with running the V.
Yeah. Because Joe and I were talking V-Union all day on
Yeah.
Wednesday, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, and then round 3, I played against the Mewtwo v Union Gardevoir. He prized two
So,
pieces.
Two Guardies in a row.
Yeah, two
And you
Guardies.
took out Drapion.
Yeah, I took out Drapion. But then like he had both his piece, 2-piece prize, and then his Peonia only found 1. So like,
Oh, and they only run 1 because they could only afford 1.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just able to get that one because they were also not able to set up. So yeah. And then round 4, I played against Mew VMAX. I think he made top 8 too. So
Mew's been wrecking pretty hard.
He was always consistent. So
Yeah, because they didn't lose anything.
yeah,
They're the same deck basically.
yeah. He let's see. He just bossed up, or like he used catchers a lot. He catchered up my Giratina, so I was basically not able to set up any Giratina. So I was just playing Arceus the entire time. But I have Belt, so I was able to. First turn, I escape rope Belt to knock out a Genesect, and then all the other turns, I was just bossing up Genesects to kill because my Giratina, so which I was trying to set, were just like getting killed by bosses, or like I just couldn't set them up, and I took the Drapion out of my list. So I was just forced to hit Genesect. It was super close because I think if he hit heads again on catcher, he would just won because he would one-shot my Pikachu on the bench.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
made the swap to Flying Peak last minute because
Yeah.
we showed up at like 10:30 and
Yeah.
Everyone practicing lost box. Everyone who didn't practice obviously wanted to conceal their deck, but lost box. It was all lost box, and I almost made the swap to Flying Pika as well, but I just stuck it out with the Raikou because it's a little bit more consistent in my deck. With the fleet-footed, it only costs 2 energy to swing.
Yeah.
And then you ID'd your last 2 rounds, right?
Yeah, I ID'd against Nathaniel, who was, I think he made top 4 with. He was a Guja player. He was the last Guja player. He made top 4, I think. And then I ID'd my last round, which was my top 4 matchup, which he was playing Gardevoir. Yeah.
Nice.
And then top 8. He also got deck checked, and then like the save. He has a warp Sableye.
He had a warp Sableye.
And then
man.
yeah. So he had a warp Sableye, so I got game lost. So he went first, but he breaks super hard. I think he started. I think he only Pokemon he got. Oh, he started Sableye, and then he benched a Cram, and then I just got 2 knockouts, and like he just couldn't find anything.
So that was your top 8 match.
Yeah, my top 8 match.
So now we're going to top 4.
Yeah.
And I know you misplayed really bad in top 4.
Yeah. So top.
It was against Guardy, right?
It was against Guardy, yeah. So Guardy, game 1, we both drew really well, but he was just able to play around the one shot, so I couldn't Sharon's Care any of my Arceus back because he always had 1 energy hand, 1 on his Gardevoir Shining Arcana, and then he would just attach a 6 with the EX, and then just manually attach. You always get 8. So it was just one shining all my V's, and like I couldn't. He was just trading super well into me.
And you got double VIP both games.
Yeah, he just he just opened full bench. I see 4 rolls. It's like okay,
go next.
Okay, this is gonna be a rough game. Yeah.
4th though.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Really good.
I was expecting at least only top 8 for one of us, but getting 4th and Julian getting top 8, that's pretty good. So you got 100 store credit. So shout out to Card Art in Sunnyvale, California, if you guys want to go check them out. Really cool owner, Ryan. They got a lot of cool stuff, a lot of singles. They have almost every card game there. Go Digimon, Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! And a cool play area. They play their Pokemon tournaments on Fridays, $10 entry. So shout out to Card Art and Ryan for hosting that. And that's our local recap. One more. Just for me. I played here at Tofu's today. Oh, and Jeremy.
Yeah.
So we didn't post it because it wasn't that big. It was only 4 players. It was just kind of like a Easter Sunday cool down tournament just for fun. We always help the kids that come in and trying to learn the game on Sundays. I came in here and I originally brought this is a postseason tournament. I originally brought a Snorlax, Klefki, Mill deck, but I didn't play it because I wasn't comfortable because I didn't test it enough. So I just ended up using a Meloetta Mew deck. And first game, I played against Matt, another Tofu guy who also played at Card Art. Yesterday, he was playing his Raichu V Miraidon deck. Raichu V is the GOAT. I don't know why Miraidons aren't playing it, but it's so good. All right, and I lost because I thought Raichu V was only... So what Raichu V does is it does 60, and you can discard as many electric energies as you want, and it does 60 times each electric energy you discarded in that way. I thought it was only to itself, but it was for any Pokemon on the field on his side. So he penciled 3 times that turn, and he was attaching to like Miraidons and Lekis. I'm like, how are you trying to attach it to the Raichu? Puts a Raichu, and then he just discards it all. I'm like, oh, and that was my only Mew VMAX. So he got that game, and then the second game I played against Samantha, and she was playing Guardy. She was testing out Guardy, and it was pretty one-sided. I was playing Meloetta. So, no, they weren't playing Guardy. They were playing Lugia. So that matchup was hard for Mew. But what ended up happening was they swung with Drapion first. So then I KO'd that. And then I Roxanne that same turn. And they couldn't get out the Yveltal, the single strike Yveltal. Which then means they had to swing with a Archeops into the Meloetta. Because I knocked out the Drapion with the Meloetta for good prizings. And then I ended up just getting a boss on the Lumineon that she had to put down. So my prize trades was Mew VMAX into Lugia, and then they Drapion the Mew VMAX. And then I Meloetted the Drapion, and then they Archeops the Meloetta, and then I won the game by bossing up the Lumineon. So it was a 2-2-2 for me, and they did a 3-1 and 3. So Meloetta, We'll talk about it later when we talk about metas after our pre-rotation card missings. But then my last game I played against Jeremy and I won, and then we both ended up becoming 2-1. But I had a better bubble, so I got the dub here at Tofu's Trading. But of course it was kind of casual, 4 players.
Yeah.
What about you?
Game 1 was against Samantha. She just bricked on Lugia. Messagosa flipped 2 tails. I flipped 2 heads. It's like, yeah. Well, that's his game, I guess. Yeah, and then I was able to win. Game 2 was against the Miraidon.
Matt's Miraidon.
Matt's Miraidon. Yeah. It was a super close game. We were both at the end he had Flappy inactive, I was Bibro. We just were bossing each other, so we couldn't we just boss each other's mono
supporter Pokemon.
Support Pokemon just stuck in the active, and eventually I think he accidentally discarded an extra lightning energy off his Ultra Ball, which he needed for manual attach, onto his Raichu.
It's all rough for Miraidon players.
He needed the Dino Motor manual attach, and then he would have gotten knocked out, but he accidentally discarded with Ultra Ball, so he wasn't able to get a KO, and then eventually Gasol and the Energies retreated and then got bossed for a game against the Raichu, since Belt on DT on RC still does 210 against 200, so I was also able to get that one.
And of course, Giovanni can't play because he is our Pokemon professor here at Tofu's Trading. So, if you want to play Tofu's Trading, guys, come here on Sundays, 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. They have 2 leagues, which is super awesome, and it is posties. So, yeah, Tofu's Trading here in San Jose, California, and we'll be talking about them more later into the podcast. But that is going to do it for our local recap. Kind of our first, big local recap. It's probably going to be our biggest local recap here on the podcast, unless, of course, we go to something like Fresno Regional or Milwaukee or anything like that. So, we're going to go ahead and move to our next big segment. It is going to be post-rotation talking. Woo! The 14th, guys. It's 5 days away. Yep. Scarlet and Violet rotation. We are going to be losing everything in the D block. That is... Vivid Voltage and before. So Sword and Shield to Vivid Voltage. So that's Sword and Shield base, Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, Shining Fates, and
Champion's Path.
Champion's Path and Vivid Voltage.
Yeah.
And then any promos along those lines, Checklane Blisters, things like that. That is our big rotation. We lose a lot of cards, making Lugia weaker. But not weak, because obviously it's not. But we also lose a lot of really important cards, making Water a lot weaker, as well as maybe finally letting other types like Electric and Psychic shine, which we have seen already. So we're going to go over what cards will miss the most. We're going to be losing a lot of cards. I know this format became stale and it sucked. Astro Radiance format was stale. Lost Origin was the GOAT format.
I love Lost
And then Silver Tempest and Crown Zenith came out, and I was like, okay, I sleep. But we're going to be going over what cards will miss the most. We're going to go through every single type as well as every single type of trainer. So we're going to go ahead and just go on right away because it's going to be a while. This is going to be a longer episode. I know a lot of you complained to me that last week's episode was really short. It was like 30 minutes. So this is going to be an hour to 2 hours at least. So we're going to go ahead. Are you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. We're going to go ahead and start with our global pick. The one card we agreed on that we will miss the most, which is, Douglas? Marnie. So if anyone of you listening are new to Pokemon and just started Scarlet Violet because you guys saw Miraidon, well, guess what? Marnie was the GOAT, or we think the GOAT of the format. Both players shuffles their hand and puts it at the bottom of their deck. You draw 5 cards and your opponent draws 4 cards. It's big because not only is it a draw supporter, but it disrupts your opponent's hand. You don't lose any cards, and you get 1 more card than your opponent. Probably the best supporter Pokemon has ever made. Of course, Colress and N exist, but the GOAT card, the GOAT card we globally all agreed on, Marnie. So if you guys agree too, let us know in the comments or tag us on Twitter. But yeah, Marnie, what do you guys have to say about Marnie?
It's the reason why I hand shuffle now.
I know how people fidget their hands. Douglas here, he hand shuffles while his opponent takes his turn because he's afraid. Marty! Oh, I've already shuffled my hand.
After playing with post rotation where I have to run 4 Judge instead of Marnie, I miss the extra draw. That Marnie extra consistency, not having to draw back into some cards I put back in, like I just miss the consistency of Marnie compared to Judge.
Yeah, I'll add on to what you said, Jeremy.
As an Arctura player.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's mostly because I think Judge you shuffle into your deck.
Yeah.
So there's still like
you
if
can
you
draw
have
them
a
back.
bad hand,
Yeah.
you can just redraw.
Like you have 2 bosses in early game. It's like I don't want to see these right now, and I don't want to research.
Judge it, and then you see them right back. I think
Yeah.
what made Marnie shine is that they go to the bottom.
Yeah.
So at least you know, okay, I'm getting something that isn't in my hand already.
And for context, all 3 of us are Arceus players, so Douglas doesn't miss it as much as we do.
Yeah.
But you still used it. Use it in Zoroark. Don't lie. Come on. You don't want to shuffle. You don't want to research that canceling code away. I know.
Yeah.
All right. So that's going to be for our kind of global pick. Now we're going to go into Pokemon. We're going to start with colorless. Who would like to go first for colorless Pokemon, and then we'll go around in a circle.
I can go ahead and start.
All right.
Our favorite colorless staples, Oranguru.
Oranguru. That's the Primate Wisdom one.
Yeah.
So for any of you listening and watching in and don't know what Oranguru does, once per turn, you may use this ability. You may switch 1 card from your hand with the top of your deck. And I know you used it a lot on Zoroark, so you want to, because Zoroark requires a lot of researches, and is Phantom Star? Is it Phantom Star?
The Gengar?
Gengar, yeah.
No, I'm talking about the V-Star power.
Oh, yeah.
It's Phantom Star?
Phantom Star.
Yeah, where you discard your hand, draw 7. Both Professor's Research and Zoroark's V-Star ability does that. Sometimes you want to save a card on top, or sometimes you just need to see an extra card. But I think the GOAT use of it was because of the card we just mentioned, Marty, where you have to put cards on the bottom of your deck. At the end of your turn, you would Oranguru that card you need on top for the next turn. Lugias would put their V-Stars on top, or Arceus players would put their Double Turbo on top. But yeah, I know you used it a lot in Zoroark. You want to explain how you use it in Zoroark?
Yeah, it was great with trekking shoes, just so I can put the Gengars on top and automatically put them to the discard, then get an extra card on top. I used it as, of course, Marnie protection, and also Professor's Research. If I look at my hand, it's like, okay, I really need this 1 card, like canceling clone for the Arctura matchup, I'd put it on Research, and then I would get a fresh new hand, plus the tech that I need.
Yeah. And that is why you're missing Oranguru, and that's really, really important. And I know it was good in Lugia, preserve energies. You needed a research, or say you needed that energy on and you need to use Archeops. You can put the energy on top of your deck on an Archeops because now technically in your deck. Yeah. Lugia. Let's. We're all gonna have PTSD for Lugia, but Gio, what'd you put for your colorless Pokemon that you're gonna miss?
I put Amazing Rare Rayquaza.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And I did test out, I think, Lost Box a bit, just to prepare for post rotation, and I did really like the Amazing Rare Rayquaza build.
Yeah.
Only for the numbers.
Big number.
It
was. I know it was hot in San Diego, and then Dragonite Kyogre ended up taking it over because it's just a better deck.
Yeah.
But it's also easier. Rayquaza is also easier. It was hot in San Diego because it hasn't seen major play yet. It was seeing it in Japan with the Zamazenta. And I remember my brother chose it over the Kyogre because he's like, I just don't want to deal with big matchups. Like, he doesn't want to deal with... It deals with Rogue VMAX matchups. It deals with Mewtwo V Union. It deals with Eternatus. It deals with all these big, annoying matchups that you can't really deal with as Kyogre. Of course, that's until we found out about Dragonite, because Azul was hiding it the entire time. I remember because at San Diego, my Winnenden was against Azul, and my brother's like, you better tell me the sauce. I'm like, okay. And this guy pulls out, he Comphase, and then he lost him to Fire Energy with Dragonite V on it, because he got judged, his Dragonite V is damaged. So he's like, oh yeah, he pulls it out of his pocket, it was a damaged Dragonite V, like unslaved. He's like, oh, that's my Dragonite V. I was like, oh, okay. I looked at it, and then after I lost, I like texted our Discord, he's playing Dragonite V, guys, with Kyogre. But Dragonite V's, but yeah, so going back, Amazing Rare Rayquaza, all these amazing rares, I know we put down a lot of them for the future types, but Lost Box really is what made those cards possible, and maybe OV. But yeah, pretty cool card. Yeah, we're definitely gonna miss a lot of the amazing rares. Yeah, Lugia. Anyways, any thoughts on Amazing Rare Rayquaza before we move on?
It was definitely the best build of Lost Box. Just because Kyogre could be tech whip against Manaphy, and just having that right code doing the 120 as a basic Pokemon as well was really nice.
I think Amazing Rare Rayquaza was a big step for Lost Box. I think Lost Box felt pretty linear with Sablezard, and then Grant Manley finds out about Kyogre and Zekrom, and then Japan finds out about this Amazing Rare Raikou Rayquaza build, and it changed Lost Box. There were so many different builds of Lost Box that when you play the Lost Box, it's no longer linear. It's no longer, I'm going to get Sableye turn 2, right? Now it's like, which one are they running? Right? Are they running the Mirage Gate version? Okay, but which Mirage Gate version are they running? Are they running the version where they want to run through their entire deck so they can play Kyogre? Or are they running through the version where they need to see 7 cards just so they can blow me up with the Rayquaza? So there was 3 different Lost Box variants. It was kind of sad that towards Sablezard kind of fell out, being the worst one, because it was so good. But yeah, Raising Rayquaza. And I'm going to go next. My favorite colorless I'm going to miss is Gourmandize Snorlax from Vivid Voltage. For those of you who don't know what it does, it's Gourmandize. You may use this ability. If you do, it ends your turn. Draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. Probably the best card to use to just sit and draw. And you might be wondering, well, it ends your turn. Well, I mean, I used it in control, so it doesn't matter if it ends my turn. I just get more cards in my hand. And it was used in Rogue decks too, just to go first, play it, end your turn. And with Scoop of Net being in the format, it's not really a liability. It's for retreat. We're going to go into Scoop of Net later. But yeah, Gourmandize. What do you guys think about Gourmandize? I know Douglas hates me for it.
I mean, there was some good, fun single prizes to snuck into, but you always knew something was coming when there was Gourmandizing.
Yeah, I remember. I think I had one Gourmandize in my in the build I brought to San Diego, my Beedrill build. And I remember, it's either Gourmandize or Celebration's Mew. It's always like your opponent's like, okay, he's cooking something, right? Because it's like he's either playing control or he's cooking something. When you see Gourmandize, when someone starts Gourmandize Snorlax, it's either he's playing control or he's cooking something, right? So like you're right, like it's pretty fun. But yeah, it's probably one of the best draw cards, like supporter Pokemon cards in the game. Like, I don't think Barrel's pretty good. I don't think it beats Snorlax.
Yeah, Snorlax is a basic. It's like, it's Tropical Beach. You draw until your hand 7.
Tropical Beach on a Pokemon, and they have to kill it.
Yeah. They get out of the way. You can always scoop it up if you need to get out or switch or something. Yeah.
Yeah, do you have any thoughts on Gourmandize before we move on?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it had a decent amount of HP, too.
130. Can't get crammed.
Can't get crammed.
Can't get Inteleon.
Sableye doesn't one-shot you. Yeah. I thought it was...
I think the big one back then was Inteleon couldn't kill it.
Aqua Bullet?
Oh,
Aqua
Bullet,
Bullet,
right?
yeah. So you had to set up quick choosing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright, so my colorless of choice was Togekiss VMAX. Although it didn't see much play in Standard, it was like, when it first came out, it was like the premier, like, not stall deck, but like control deck in Expanded. You ran stuff like Silent Labs and stuff, so you just search up your control cards, you have your enhanced hammers, you just search for all the control cards, yeah.
It was like the premier big beef deck, like, and like especially when Dunsparce was there. I know we have a friend at San Jose. She played a Togekiss VMAX deck. It had Dunsparce, it had Hyper Potions, and it had Max Glide for 120 damage. For not that, I know it's not that much, but it's only for 2 colors, so you can attach a double turbo on it later when double turbo was released. And then it's a Starbirth. You search your deck for 2 cards, you put it in your hand. So it could be any 2 cards. It could be Marnie, like we mentioned. It could be Cheryl. It could be Hyper Potion. You just fan of Waves, anything. Like it was such a big Pokemon. You put Big Charm on that thing, you're flat 340 Chonker. Nothing in format could have one-shot it. Until things like Giratina and Power Creep came in, but yeah, Togekiss VMAX. Douglas, anything on Togekiss VMAX?
I know that our friend topped her first local with that deck as well.
Not topped, bubbled, yeah. And she was very new too when she decided to play it. And I know Gio's met them, and they're very passionate about the deck. I'm very sad that it's leaving format, but they're building a new Cheryl Loop deck, so I don't know how to feel anymore. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to Fire Pokemon. I'll start. Fire and Grass are going to be very quick because there's not much to talk about for rotation. I'm going to just go with Amazing Rare Reshiram. There wasn't too much play, but I know Japan played it a lot in Lost Box before the Rayquaza build was kind of invented because it's 3 energies for 270. You just swing 270 flames, And then, if it's against a V-Star, you set it, it's prepped for Sableye, or you play Galarian Zigzagoon. It's a fire, water, lightning attacker. That's the 3 energy cost. So you already use it for, they would put it in Sablezard. And then instead of Charizard, you'd put it in with Radiant Greninja because then you also have the water energy. Because the Reshiram basically would be the substitute for Zard, and you run more Mirage Gates. Raihan Mirage Gate would charge up Reshiram, obviously. Obviously, it didn't do too well, and then they were just like, why don't we just use Rayquaza? It's the same thing. 3 energies, you're hitting for 240 already. You just add one more, you're hitting for 320. Yeah. So, but yeah, Fire type, not that much. Jeremy, what about you?
Fire type was mine is Centiskorch VMAX. It was, although people hate on the deck, it was not consistent.
God,
it was
everyone clowns on that deck.
Yeah, Centiskorch VMAX. It was fun. Hitting Welder, hitting Fire Crystals. You just build a big tanky Centiskorch. You have like
put in that rotation now. That's a different rotation, bro.
You just have the big. Yeah, there's not many good fire types that rotate, so it's just that thing. Big charge advantage from discard pile. It's really linear, but pretty fun.
Yeah, as Jeremy said, there aren't that many good fire types that rotate, but just from scanning through what is in D, I chose Battle Sense Charizard.
Oh, was that the Leon one?
It's the Leon.
That one's really funny.
Yeah, because like you get that plus 30 damage from Leon plus the plus 50 for each Leon in your discard pile.
Yeah, so you just Leon every turn.
Hitting for big numbers, and it has a really good draw onto it. During your turn, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, pull one into your hand, and discard the others.
So you could like discard the Leons that you find.
Yeah,
it's not bad. But of course, every rogue deck is killed by Sableye, so no play scene.
I remember that Charizard does the theme deck. People were like going wild for those.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is Zard, and you gotta love Zard. You know?
Yeah, every place I see like 200 of the Dreadnought theme decks, while there's 0 Charizard.
Yeah, it's like now no more Mew theme decks. Like you can't find them.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, what'd you put for fire?
I put Victini V from Sword and Shield base.
Ooh, what's that one do?
So it has 2 different attacks. One is for a colorless Spreading Flames, where you can attach up to 3 fire energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon any way you like.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it saw too much play, but I liked it for its second attack, Energy Burst, which does 30 damage times the number of energy attached to both active Pokemon.
Both active. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a little bit,
a little bit of spice.
A little bit of spice.
But you know, when Krebs are attacking for free.
It wasn't that good, but you know.
All right, we're probably gonna go on to our. Anything else about fire types, or are we moving on? I know we're already 47 minutes into the podcast. So.
Yeah, Char types doesn't have too much to talk about. There was Centiskorch, but that one's died after rotation.
Yeah.
Victini VMAX, good for 1 set.
Just the V, no the V, not the VMAX.
Yeah.
Just the V. Talking about the V.
Yeah, the V was random with the VMAX because that was better than whichever one later on we got afterwards.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go on and move into water. Probably one of the biggest types rotating. So let's have Geo start this time.
I picked another amazing rare.
Yeah.
And it's Kyogre.
Kyogre. Yeah, we didn't see too much play. But I know it came back for GLC and it got banned. For those of you who don't know, it's for 4 energy. They're all different types too.
Yeah.
Do 80 to all of your opponent's Pokemon. Counter by mana fee, of course, but when GLC became a format, there was no mana fee. And as well as not every type has bench barrier. I think the only types that have bench barrier is Psychic and Water. So it just did 80 and it was broken because you would use it because water is really well supported.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later with my pick. But yeah, Amazing Rare Kyogre, I wish it saw play. I wish when Lost Box came out, I was
really hoping for
my brother literally made a list with every single Amazing Rare in the deck just for fun. Like 4 comfy and then all the Amazing Rares. No crams. Like not my brother, it might have been someone else, but I saw a list somewhere. Yeah, it's probably someone. I don't think my brother would be that stupid. It was definitely a stupid list. But yeah, Amazing Rare Kyogre, not much to say out there. I'll go on next. Inteleon. Shady Dealings. Ooh, I guess Drizzle here too as well. If any of these shadies don't know, when you evolve into a Inteleon or evolve into Drizzle, well, it's 2 different abilities actually. When you evolve into Drizzle, you search your deck for a trainer card, you put it into your hand. So trainers can be supporter item or tools or stadium.
Yeah.
And then Inteleon was the same thing, except it's 2 trainers. And it was so dumb, especially when Irida came out. Oh my god. And it was a really good attacker.
Yeah.
2 energies, 120, and then 20 to a bench Pokemon. Probably one of the best starters that we've gotten ever. Like, in terms of playability.
Yeah.
Better than Rillaboom and Cinderace, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Teleon, Jeremy?
Inteleon, I don't know how they made Inteleon next set gave us Scoop of Net with that card. It's like, what are they doing here? And then
What are they cooking, bro?
Yeah. And then they gave him a good attack too with Aqua Bullet. Like, they're just giving it everything.
They should have made it 3 energies, not 2.
2 energy for 120 is really good, yeah.
Yeah, 140 damage.
Yeah,
basically.
Basically 140, yeah.
Douglas, shitty dealing thoughts?
Running the Shady Dealings engine, that was one of the first engines I ran.
Oh, yeah.
It was a little complicated as a new player to try and like figure out what you need to do, but I could definitely see the utility of Shady Dealings.
It's like, once you figure it out, it's like, it's over. It's like, alright, eared up, bucket. Gio, shitty dealings? Did you play any decks of shitty dealings, Gio?
I did.
Okay.
I ran like the worst deck ever, and it was like Shady Dealings with the Decidueye.
Oh, the theme deck? Yeah.
The one with the coat.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I picked up when I first got back into Pokemon, like early Sword and Shield days.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this deck.
You don't know what you're doing.
So yeah, especially like Douglas said, coming back, you're just like, what are you doing? You're just getting like random cards.
Shitty dealings is broken.
Yeah.
But you have to know your
you have
deck.
to know what you're
Yeah.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I switched to Duraludon, I hated going up against it. Especially with Squirtle.
Because all you do, because you're sitting there. Yeah, you're sitting there. I feel bad because I went to San Diego with a shitty dealings deck. And this was during Silver Tempest, so Palkia wasn't the meta. And I went with Beedrill, Single Strike Beedrill, and I sat there, scoop up netting and shitty dealing and checking my deck every time because of like I ran a shit ton of 1-ofs because it's shitty dealings. You can you can run whatever the hell you want, any trader you want. 1-of traders, it's like I can get it whenever I want as long as it's not prized. But you have to figure out what's prized and not. So shitty dealing is something we're gonna miss dearly, or maybe not miss, depending on who you are. Water next, Jeremy.
I'll go with the other Inteleon, the Inteleon VMAX.
Not the Rap Strike one, just for you guys are wondering. So what does Inteleon VMAX do?
I just remember Inteleon VMAX. It was never that good. The deck was never tier 1. It was all play with Frostmoth. It's all play with Frostmoth because it needed 3 energy to attack. It was an okay spread deck. I just remember playing it a bit with the League Battle deck that came out. It came out with League Battle decks. It came with Frostmoth. It didn't have the Inteleon for some reason. I don't know why it didn't give a Shady Dealings to play with that deck, but yeah, I was playing that. It had some spread damage. It was not the best, but I had some memories of like returning to the game with that good deck or getting to physical cards because
was it during Chilling Reign or like after?
It was during, I think, right before Battle Style ish. It was run with like Frostmoth. It got pretty power creep, but then it was good at the time. It wasn't not that good, but it was fun.
All right, we're gonna have to go a little faster. So Douglas.
Yeah. So
we'll just do your thoughts and we'll do like a quick So not every one of our thoughts about the card. Yeah, obviously we'll talk about your main thoughts. So let's go. Water. What you got?
Frostmoth.
It's
It's pretty much deluge on a stage 1.
Yeah. It only bench though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was only to bench, but it's definitely strong with the Articuno that paralyzed. I know people ran that during Silver Tempest.
Yeah, then Lost Box.
Oh
my god.
Destroyed it. That and people were started teching in Birdkeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, it's okay. It's good.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I did have a friend who won. He won some event. I think he won first at Card Arts, like I think they had like a GLC one day.
And he went
Frostmoth. Yeah,
Frostmoth and GLC. My thoughts are really fun with Crabominal V. Yeah. Our friend Val, who goes to Chris's, he plays Frostmoth box. But he says the number 1 issue is Cramorant and Sableye. So yeah, Gio, what'd you pick for water? Oh no, you already did water. We're running grass. I'll go. Eldegoss V. Grass is gonna be really quick type, guys, because there's literally nothing. Eldegoss V. I forgot what it's called. It's not Buddy Catch. That's the Gallade. Buddy Lift. Cotton Lift. Something.
The one that it has a.
So what the ability does is when you play Eldegoss V onto the bench, you get a supporter from your discard. Yeah. So this could be ran in any deck, but it's mainly ran in control because you can Eldegoss for Birdkeeper, Cheryl, or Silene, which are all good control cards. and then you would attach DTE, Cotton Lift, which shuffles the Eldegoss and all attached cards back into the deck. So you would just loop with Eldegoss in a big Pokemon, such as Sanders Umbreon VMAX deck, or Gerardo's Hatterene VMAX deck. Any kind of big wall. The issue with big walls right now is it gets one shot by Giratina, or Lugia back during the game meta with Yveltal. But yeah, Cotton Lift. People also use it for boss for game.
Yeah. Right.
I know there was some Zoroark lists running it for research. You would just research, put Eldegoss down, Galar. It gets pinged by Gapejaw Bog, and then you would just research or just boss for game. So very versatile card. Unfortunately, didn't get to see much play during post Brilliant Stars because there's just better Vs to run. And things started to one-shot things in format.
It was ran a little bit early when we didn't have Luminion to add support for deck.
That's true.
We do it with what we have. We just have Boston discard, hopefully.
Yeah, then Ultra Ball got printed, and it was all doomed from there.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on Eldegoss?
Yeah.
All right. Jeremy, what'd you for grass?
I feel like you got like the best one already.
Yeah.
So, against Decidueye, it was on air.
The V block, right?
Yeah, the V block. It was good in the early meta because every deck was a V or a V max, and that's pretty much it. You queue into any fire type and you just pray because they have Volcanion. But that's pretty much it. I don't know. Playing online, it was super scuffed. It's either they. It just depends on the week. Sometimes people will have Decidueye. Some weeks they don't play Decidueye all because they got countered for it.
And then Arcantel had answers for everything.
Yeah.
Back then, Arcantel, Brilliant Stars meta.
Yeah.
Douglas, what'd you get for grass?
So for me, it was the Birdkeeper Rowlet.
Let's go.
For one of the dumbest reasons, though. Because it was like the best card in the Happy Meals.
It was for the Happy Meal promotion it was 25th, right? For 25th anniversary. It was the only playable card. I remember because that was when I first got you into Pokemon, and I was like, I'm only looking for this card, right? And you're like, why? I'm like, because it's the only playable. Because you're still new, you had no idea what was playable or not.
Yeah.
So we only got there was 5 of us in that car. It was me, you, Justin, Thea, and Arthur. We only got 1 rally.
And that was off me.
And that was you. And you got 2 Happy Meals.
Yeah.
And we all got 1. And he's the only one that got rallet. We got 1 rallet. Yeah. We still have it.
Yeah.
I have it in my binder right now. And I'm never trading it. So yeah. Gio, what'd you put for grass type?
I put Rillaboom, the voltage beating one.
Ooh.
Probably one of the
only good grass support cards.
Yeah.
Besides Eldegoss.
Besides Eldegoss, yeah.
So that's once per turn, search your deck for 2 grass energies and put onto one of your Pokemon.
Yeah.
Really good for acceleration. It shoots to stage 2.
Yeah.
And it did see some play actually. It's a Regidrago.
Yeah.
But then they just started playing Arceus Regidrago.
Yeah. It saw play a little bit in early when tag teams before they rotate because Executor and Rowlet could just evolve it with his first attack or something.
Yeah.
But like it was never that good. It was grass was never that good.
Yeah. And it'll still continue to be not good because of Radiant Zard. And now, when people are to figure Armor Rouge decks, it's pretty doomed.
Yeah, some Armor Rouge decks. Yeah, especially Lost Box and always just tech in like a fire type. You need to be really good to be able to compete.
Yeah, and Zard just exists, man. Zard exists. I'm not complaining. I love Zard.
Such a good card, yeah.
All right, we're moving on to Lightning. Not very much for the rotating cards, but now we have a little bit. So I chose Morpeko, the Torment one. For 1 colorless Torment, it did 10 damage. Choose one of your opponent's attacks. They can't use it for the next turn on their active Pokemon. So it's good for when it's good against things like the Ralladon.
Yeah. When
they don't have big Paracel. It's a control card. I'm a control player, partly if I'm not playing Arceus. So it's good. It's 1 of in most decks, and you just attach a GT so you don't progress any damage. And double turbo energy. You don't progress any damage, and you would just it's good against Regidrago. When they can't retreat, things like Regidrago and Duraludon, it is good. You just all out because control decks have infinite loops now. That doesn't require Eldegoss. Now that things like Cheer and Silene exist. So really fun card. And any thoughts on it? You guys haven't seen it very much.
No, I haven't seen it.
I ran it once in Peak of Union.
Yeah, when you run the big floppy box deck.
Yeah.
But did you even play it?
I did. I played it into Regidrago. It helped a little bit, but just switch.
Cam has switches in his deck. Yeah. It helps against the dragons who are greedy who don't run those things.
Yeah.
Jeremy, lightning type.
I can't think of any lightning type Pokemon.
That's fine.
I just. I
can
can
skip if
think
you
of
want.
one. I don't
Okay.
want to say that one, so I'll say Bolton V.
Okay. Okay.
I can think of one. Yeah, that one. It just accelerates energy. It does damage based off energies. That's pretty much it. I don't know. Lightning types weren't my favorite during Sword and Shield, although I like lightning types. But yeah,
They didn't really become a thing until Flaffy came out.
Yeah,
and Evolving
yeah.
Skies.
Yeah,
But then people just ended up playing like Rayquaza VMAX or something.
yeah.
Because Flaffy can go into any Pokemon, not
Yeah,
lightning.
not
Yeah.
just-
On the bench.
Yeah, on the bench. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what'd you pick?
So for me, I chose the Vivid Voltage Zekrom.
That's right.
Yeah. 130, and then it does sticky to itself. Your opponent's Pokemon is not paralyzed. It was also really good because it hit for weakness for Lugia. So Fluffy Box kind of came back up. And
Probably one of the biggest utility cards Lost Box is losing. I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously now they're just running like Sky Silver Raikou, but for those like Lost Box decks that are purely running single prizers, probably one of the biggest ones they're losing.
yeah, Zekrom or the Zero Aura.
Yeah, because now Lugias don't have Birdkeeper, and there's stuff like Gardevoir who don't run Switch cards. Probably the biggest card they're losing
Yeah.
for Lost Box. But yeah, I agree. Zekrom is going to be missed. I think the main electric type that's going to be lightning card that's going to be missed in Sword and Shield rotation. This is a good pick. That's a really good pick. And I know you love the card too.
Yeah, the
How many of those
trainer
TGs do you have? Two?
Yeah,
Okay.
the TGs are really
You got one from him, I know that.
Yeah, you got a binder page now.
Now we got Radiant Lunchbox. Yeah. All right, Gio, what'd you choose?
Yo, I picked another amazing rare. Raikou.
Oh, never mind. That one's gonna be missed more. That one's gonna be missed more.
Missed the most, yeah. I think it definitely didn't see play when it first came out.
Yeah.
But once Lost Box came out,
It was over.
it was over.
And Lugia.
And then Lugia, yeah. And
Yeah.
PTSD.
Well, Lugia would have been a thing if they actually had a rotation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about those energies later. All right, we're gonna go dark. Another quick type. I think all of them are gonna be quick from now on. Water was just the biggest one, I feel like.
Yeah.
I went with Galarian Zigzagoon, probably the most versatile dark type Pokemon. What it does is from your hand, if you play this Pokemon from your hand, you can put 1 damage counter, which is 10 damage, on any of your opponent's Pokemon. It fixed so much math in so many decks. It was crazy. Like one damage counter, you might not think for anyone listening, but let me just like point out some numbers for you. Palkia V-Star adds pretty much plus 30 damage.
Yeah.
Arceus was 10 damage off on any Vs. It always hit for 210 for Arceus. Always 210. For things like Weezing Stall Poison, if they have an odd number of HP, Galarian Weezing does it for you. And then you have things like Scuba Net, which you can now use Galarian Zigzagoon again and again. So probably one of the most versatile dark type Pokemons to leave our rotation. And I know it was really good in Lost Box for Charizard and stuff like that, and Sableye. But people are saying Halucha is a little bit better. But the thing I like about Zigzagoon is versatile in a lot of decks. Halucha is only versatile in Lost Box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zigzag you can hit the active while Talucha
Yeah, that's
only
true.
bench. So you need
Yeah.
you need pre.
As Arceus player, it's pretty strong. Doug is like, I hate Arceus players. All right, what'd you choose?
Let's see. I'll choose Galarian Slowbro V. In the active, it poisoned your opponent's Pokemon. It was not very good, but it was the funny tech for Eternatus VMAX early on because there are too many Zamazenta Vs that walled out your VMAX. So your win condition was just poisoning them. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely some random Vs that Jeremy's been choosing, but it's really cool. You guys, be like, what is Jeremy talking about? Hey, he knows what he's talking about, I promise. Douglas, what'd you get at?
And the card that I also paired with that was Toxicroak.
Oh, okay.
Does plus
Shout out to Ryan.
plus 10 during Pokemon Checkup if the opponent's Pokemon is poisoned.
And only one more damage counter?
It might be two.
It
Two?
might be two,
It might be two.
Might be
Okay.
two. So you get a full bunch of Toxicroaks and you're doing.
Because it stacks.
Yeah.
You're playing Eternatus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea is to get a bunch of Toxicroaks, the Galarian Slowbro,
Radiant Sneasler.
Yeah.
Radiant Sneasler,
I'll play against it.
for each turn.
And then you put up Weezing.
Yeah,
and it's just doomed.
they're just constantly poisoned.
Yeah.
And they're taking like 120 poison.
Yeah, per turn, yeah.
Alright, Gio. Wrap it up for Dark.
I picked what I think is the best dark type that's leaving. That's Crobat V.
Crobat V, yeah, you're right. So what Crobat V does, ladies and gentlemen, is when you play this card from your hand onto your bench, you may draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. I know that was I know that's like worsted like what Shaymini X or whatever,
Yeah.
but in this format, the GOAT. Of course, it was really good before everything started one-shotting.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty good. I know Lugia's tried to play it at first, but Double Lumina is better. But things like Arceus, where you need to see an energy attachment turn 1, the GOAT. And it was really good in Turbo decks and things like that. So, saying goodbye to Curve IV and an honorary mention to, of course, Amazing Area Veltal, carrying the format. Carrying every Lugia player out there. All they had a deck check for was the Aurora energies. They're like, okay. All right, we're going to move on to Psychic. I chose the Banette. Is it Sword and Shield base?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
Yeah.
And what Banette does is when you evolve this Pokemon from your hand, you may devolve a Pokemon on their bench. And it was really good in Dialga V-Star. It was only used in Dialga V-Star. Because what we'd do is Dialga would punch something for 20 with Star Cronus, which then they would take another turn, they would boss something up or cross switch something up, and then Banette to devolve that thing that they just hit, thus taking 2 prizes, and then taking another turn to hit for 280 or 320 with Metal Blast, which is super good for Dialga V-Star. But the issue with Dialga is getting that set up. But it was so strong against things like Mew and Palkia back in Astral Radiance format. But yeah, Banette, I don't think there's anything else to say because it's only been used once.
Yeah, in Dialga.
Shout out to Xander.
Yeah.
But yeah, what'd you choose, Jeremy?
I chose Dragonful VMAX. It was probably
That's
the
right.
only. It was like, that was the best deck for one whole set before Eternus came out, but it was super fun when it was out. 130 and then 50 to just
Any way you like.
any way
right?
you like. Yeah, onto the bench.
Sounds pretty good against Lost Box until they bench Drapion.
Until the bench straight. It's also weak to dark, so yeah, that's pretty much it. It was good for one whole set. It was a good fun set.
It's unfortunate. VMAXs are fun and cool,
Yeah.
but everything is one-shotting now.
Yeah.
Power creep.
Yeah.
All right, what'd you choose?
I chose the Life Shaker Gengar.
Ooh, I like that one too.
I remember seeing it a lot in like the newer Turbo V Union decks.
Yeah,
Yeah, just because of it can move damage counters and then you run it with Radiant Arena.
that's right.
Yeah.
So you can just heal it all.
everything
Yeah.
up.
Only if you could use it with Gardevoir.
If only if you use a
Yeah.
Then it make
Maybe you try and expand it.
Yeah, you could.
Maybe.
But it's broken right now because of Scuba Bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I did try it once because I try every build of Mewtwo V Union. The one that Sander brought to the EU regional, pretty strong deck, but that was only a meta call because no one was putting Drapion in Lugia, or in Lost Box either because every Mew player didn't want to go. But yeah, good card. That's Sword and Shield base.
Yeah.
And what'd you choose for Psychic?
Yeah, another amazing rare, and that'd be the Zacian.
Ooh,
Does 150 more damage.
double damage basically against
double
VMAX.
damage against VMAX, yeah.
Yeah, so you slap a bet on there, 330.
330, you hit stop
Almost
anything.
everything except for Eternatus,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
340.
340. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or a big charmed VMAX.
big charge VMAX. Yeah,
Yeah.
really fun card. But only saw play it only in Lost Box.
Lost Box, yep.
Yeah, but then again, the only good VMAXs were countered by weakness from other cards, so they didn't need to run Zacian. But there was some good. There was the only time it topped was in the Japanese regional. It was called, that was the original Lost Dogs. I got that dog in ya. That was it ran the Crown Zenith Zamazenta, the Amazing Rare Zacian, Amazing Rare Raikou, and then it ran Radiant Greninja, and then it ran the Raikou V, the Giratina V, and a Drapion V, without the Giratina V Star. Just for Shred. Just for Shred. That was before Dragonite was discovered, right?
Yeah.
And they would run Sky Seal Stone with it. So you could Shred for 160 as the Tina. And it was kind of funky. It was so weird. But yeah.
Yeah.
That was for Psychic. So we're moving on to fighting probably the worst type. Worse than Grass purely because of Eldegoss. I chose Stormjourner VMAX, the deck Sander brought to Worlds.
Big stall.
And he didn't make day
Big
2.
stall,
Big
yeah.
stall. It wasn't stall, it was just wall. Just
Big
couldn't
wall,
die.
yeah.
You run Kabu, draw cards to shuffle your hand, draw cards to 8 if you have if you only have 1 active. If you have no benched. And you run the Team Yell Cheer Towel, or the Team Yell Towel, whatever it's called.
Heal
Yeah.
50, right?
You heal 50,
Yeah.
both Pokemon heal 50.
Yeah.
Lucky Eyes, 4 Lucky Eyes pops, 4 Hyper Potions. It was kind of weird. But that's the only fighting type I can think of. So, Jeremy, what are you thinking?
Colossal VMAX. It was. People were saying it was gonna be new top tier 1. It hit weakness against Eternatus and hit weakness against Pikarom. Turns out the deck was just clunky. You need you see an energy, you need to its attack. You need to discard the top card of your deck. If it's an energy, it does extra damage. So the only way you set it up is with either there was like smoothed over like cargo or something. You just put an energy on top, and then you just like build the top card. Its energy, you do extra damage, or you just hard draw it and have Orin Guru put it on top, similar to what you do with like Kiram VMAX. Yeah. But unfortunately, it was not consistent. It was not good enough. It was still getting beat by Pikachu and Zekrom somehow through weakness.
Yeah, I can't think of any really good fighting types that are rotating or that I played with. So I just chose the team attack Phalanx.
Oh
My god, the little card was like, that's what Mousehold's gonna be. And that's what it was.
And I made the comparison of, this is like Mousehold.
It's gonna be like Phalanx.
Yeah, but this one's slightly better because it's called for family.
It's also basic.
It's also basic, so it's less work.
And it's is it Rapid Strike? No. One of them is Rapid Strike.
There's the reprint Rapid Strike squad.
The one rotating is not Rapid Strike.
Yeah.
That's the one with B as GG, or is that the Rapid Strike one? That might be the Rapid Strike.
That's the Rapid Strike one.
Okay, never mind. All right. Gio, end up fighting?
Yeah, like you guys said, no good fightings, so I just went with an amazing rare.
The Donbozos. That's what Jeremy likes.
I love it.
It's 170 damage for 3 energy. I think it's Fighting, Steel, Psychic?
Fighting Lightning
Steel.
Yeah.
Fighting Lightning Steel.
Yeah.
And it cannot be damaged by VMAX.
Yeah,
but the only VMAX in rotation is Mew, and it has Shred.
Yeah.
So, and Duraludon also has Shred.
Yeah,
so it's useless.
Goes right through it.
But it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. People were hoping that was good early because his
Yeah.
first attack is not bad.
I was afraid. I was running Calyrex that weekend.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go with Steel. I went with Galarian Meowth. It has an ability, Evolution and Roar. Discard 2 cards. If you do, search your deck for a Galarian Berserker and put it into your hand. But I didn't use it at all for that. I used it literally to thin down my hand so I can Gourmandize for more cards. The story like I talked about at the beginning. Perfect card to thin down your hand. That was basically it. I don't have any other way to use it.
Good way to give you 2 pieces.
Yeah.
Discard, right? Yeah.
And then Lost Box came out. You couldn't run it anymore.
Yeah.
It was a liability. 60 health liability.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jeremy, what do you got for Steel?
Steel will have Zacian V. Probably.
I think it's the best Steel.
I think that is the best Steel.
So you want to explain what Intrepid Sword does?
Intrepid Sword, it ends your turn, but you look at the top 3 cards, you can add them to your hand. But if you see any Bell energy there, you can attach them to your Pokemon.
To Zacian V.
To Zacian V, yeah.
So probably the most broken part of ADP.
It was probably like the best V, maybe other than like full supportive ones, but like as an attacker, it's probably like the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has
230 for 3 metal.
Yeah.
Or is it 2 metal, 1 No, it's 3 metal.
3 metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and it can't attack the next turn, but like it was like basically like the best V.
Good backup attacker for Dialga.
Yeah, it can attack. It can work as support. It's just super versatile. Yeah.
And they made a Zacian V star for it, but unfortunately, we have to use the bad Zacian V now.
Yeah, it's been.
Dude, what if we used Zacian V star and Guardy just for funnies, just to cover up the Zacian V? So much more, yeah. What'd you do for Steel, Douglas?
I chose the amazing rare Jirachi.
Ooh.
I remember hearing about it on something.
Yeah.
Yeah, where almost every deck before this rotation ran it.
Yeah.
It was. People were saying it's gonna be like the new best
Is
support.
that the look top 2 and then pick one?
Yeah, it's like a top.
It's like worse than Celebrations Mew, I feel like.
Yeah, but
It's like worse flower selecting.
Yeah, it's basically just flower selecting, but people were thinking that there was gonna be a new like supportive engine after the other Jirachi from Sun and Moon rotated, so they're gonna run that. But then like people realized that like, wait, we can just run like the Inteleon engine.
Yeah.
Just run the
The
Inteleon.
Shady just 10 does.
Yeah, then like when the Mew Celebrations Mew came out, I was like, wait, we can just run this. This is you see more cards with this card. Yeah.
And this Vivid Voltage. I think all the amazing cards are Vivid Voltage, right?
A lot of them were Vivid Voltage. Yeah.
Some were Shining Fates.
Yeah.
Some were Shining Fates.
They're all super cool though.
All right,
Sucks that I didn't see play.
Yeah. Wrap it up with Steel.
I know I said this about Zacian, but I think this is the best Steel team.
Yeah?
Yeah. You know, it's the hard coat Duraludon V.
No!
It's good. That's all I gotta say.
So it's literally just a Duraludon V, except it has hard coat. You take 30 less damage.
No need to attack. That's the thing.
Nothing different compared to running Dragon Duraludon V. It's just more optimal. It's just optimal. I'm not missing that card, bro. I'm not missing that card. It sucks because when I was saying about like RCS being able to hit 220 with Zigzagoon, that you couldn't kill it. Yeah, because it had hard coat. Yeah.
Well, path to a peak, baby.
Yeah, path to the peak.
All right. We're gonna now move into the trainer cards. Ooh, so we're gonna start with item, the card that we see the card type we see the most in decks. I went with the tried and true Scoop Up Net. So you know what Scoop Up Net does is you may pick up any Pokemon on your field that doesn't have a roll or that is not a V or a GX, and you pick it up, put it into your hand. All attached cards are removed, but as Jeremy mentioned earlier, Scoop It Out is so good in Inteleon engine.
Yeah.
Because you could shitty dealings with Inteleon, scoop it out, play Sasabel, and now you have Drizzle and Inteleon for the next turn,
Yep.
and then maybe you can rare Candy later or something like that.
Yeah.
It's so giga busted, and it was so good in any rogue deck.
Yeah.
Lost Box, any single prize your deck, goated. You started Radiant Zard, Scoop Up Net. You started Starlax,
Yeah.
Gormonize, Scoop Up Net next turn. It was the most I think it was the most broken card possible, but man, did I love it.
They definitely did not future proof that card when it said only V and
GX, yeah, because Scoop Up Net EX is it,
Yeah.
Destroyed expanded because you had Shaman EX. It actually got Shaman EX banned.
yeah.
Because you just scoop it up and constantly draw that 6.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now,
it's like,
yeah.
oh my god.
If it didn't rotate, you could just scoop up that your Gardevoir EXs.
Don't worry, we have
After
Penny now. We have Penny
Yeah,
now.
Penny.
Yeah.
All right, what'd you choose for item?
It might not be the best or like scoop up that or like quick ball, but I chose Evolution Incense.
True stable.
Yeah.
True stable.
RCS player, I need to see the RCS V-Star.
Shroud player.
Yeah.
Zora, you need to see those Gengars.
Yeah, no
I
Discord, no nothing. Just see a free evolution.
It's
yeah.
just so weird.
I think the only
without it.
deck it didn't needed was Lost Box.
Yeah.
I think every deck needed it. If we look at the top decks, Lugia must have.
Yep.
Yeah.
RCS must have. Duraludon, you could have gotten by without it because you didn't really. You ran one, right?
I ran two.
Two.
But I mean, again, you only run two, right?
Even in Arc Intel, we can search for anything you want. You still run one. So it was Palkia. You needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was probably one of the biggest staples that's not Quick Ball. And we banned Quick Ball from this list because we're all going to say Quick Ball. Because it's the most broken ball search of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Evolution Incense is a really big card. That is definitely going to be missed. Now we have to use Capturing the Robot as it goes instead. Yeah. Great Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bad now.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, they have to run a 4/4 Mezagoza Capturing the Robot. But some people are trying to make a talk for Great Ball,
Yeah.
which is super interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Douglas. Item card.
Item cards, I chose Ordinary Rod.
Ooh.
I'm going to miss Pokemon Recovery
Oh my
for
god.
another like 3 months. Until
I know
this
we don't
comes.
get we have I think the only recovery we have for Pokemon is Clara
Mm-hmm.
and Miriam.
Yeah.
And Ordinary Rod fixed that because it was an item card. And right now, committing Pokemon Recovery to supporters is really, really huge. And of course, we have to run it.
Yeah.
I know you're not running it. I know you're not running it. Gio and Jeremy are running it, but I'm running it because I'm running Zard. Radiant
Yeah.
Zard. Clara is huge. Clara Radiant Zard is strong, but Ordinary Rod for early game is huge because you'd be like, oh, I researched my V-Star away. Might as well put it back in the deck with Rod because
Yeah.
I need to research again the next turn. But yeah, and then our only energy recovery right now is Recycler and Retrieval. Because no training court, which will be mentioned later, but Ordinary Rod's also busted. I just realized we're losing busted cards.
2 Pokemon and 2 energy.
Basic energies.
Yeah, basic energies.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also Roseanne's backup. That's in format still.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that one's niche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see Celtic players. Anything else on Ordinary Rod, Douglas?
No, I still have my golden one in my GLC deck, so I'm
Yeah.
still using it.
Just super out roiding room while asking.
I know both of you also have golden ones too.
Yeah.
It's the GOAT recovery. I don't think anything beat it. For like Clark's was pretty much the same thing except you put it into your hand, but it's a supporter.
Supporter,
Yeah.
which
Because what sucked is you couldn't Clara Zard boss. You had to
Yeah.
Rod Quick Ball boss, which is pretty broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Gio, what you got for item?
Hyper Potion.
Okay. Duraludon player
As a
speaking.
Duraludon player, yeah. I mean, Duraludon kind of sucks without it.
I mean, when DT came into the meta, it was so good.
It was so good.
Attach DT, Hyper Potion.
Yeah.
Fixed a lot of math for Duraludon. It also fixed some math for some other decks. I know some Arceus decks are running it.
Early versions of Arc Intel.
Yeah, early versions, but Shared Skirmish is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because people thought it was like, oh, you can run Hyper Push and then you just like boss or something. But it's like, it doesn't matter, you just hot potato anyways. Because I think it was one-shotting back then. I know like 1 or 2 Lugia players tried to run it, and it didn't work out. There's no point, because Lugia's a full aggro deck.
Yeah.
Because some people were trying to run the heal Lugia decks, like without like without the Aurora energies and whatnot. You just run like the V guards and the gift energy.
Yeah.
Trying to intimidate Arc Intel, but then they're like, okay, this one is just so much better.
Yeah.
Just run all the energies in it.
Yeah.
But yeah. We're gonna move on to supporter cards.
Supporter.
Of course, we all said Marnie was gonna be the number 1 card we missed, but there's still a lot of good supporters. Actually, not very many good supporters.
Yeah.
But supporters nonetheless.
Yeah.
I put Birdkeeper, the
Ooh.
goat of playing against Zekrom that Douglas mentioned earlier. It was switch your active with one of your bench Pokemon and then draw 3. So one of the best draw 3 supporters in the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, better than Sharon, my favorite supporter. But it was just strong. You could use it defensively. You can use it aggressively. You can use it as a draw 3 if you needed it.
You can use it with Rowlet.
You use it with a Rowlet. But yeah, Jeremy, what'd you put for supporters?
Not many of my, other than Marnie, not many of my favorite supporters are rotating because like boss research stayed in the format. So I just said it's like sort of classic one. It's Skyla. It doesn't see much play now, especially since Irida's out. But like there's some niche formats with exhausting decks where they ran it because it searched for the tool that makes exhausting V do more damage. But
It was also just budget shady dealings. Let me
Yeah.
shady dealings for Skylar really quick.
it wasn't, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's. I just remember running it back in Black and White. You would run it, but it's been this time's been power.
It saw
capped.
some play for canceling Cologne. Just some.
Ooh, Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, yeah,
Now it
just
doesn't matter.
Irida
Because he would
just-
Lumineon for Skyla. But you could also Lumineon for Irida. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
You could have tried that, but you stopped playing Zoroark by the time people discovered that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not much.
Did you put Dan? Did you put Dan?
I did not.
No! We didn't put Dan! Okay, it's
I
fine.
thought someone else put Dan.
No!
That's what I'm
We're not missing the card. It's only just a meme at this
It was there as like
So
that.
anyone doesn't know, Dan is draw 2 cards, and then you and your opponent plays rock paper scissors, and if you win, you draw another 2 cards. It would have been funnier if it said if your opponent wins, they draw 2 cards. The homie card, dude. Anyway, so what'd you put for supporter?
I put Leon instead.
That's a good card.
Yeah, it was really good in Palkia.
Calyrex.
Calyrex.
Specifically Calyrex.
Specifically for Calyrex to beat those 310 numbers.
Yeah.
Mew, just because you didn't have Drapion yet, so
Yeah.
it was good against Mew. It was good against when I played Mewtwo V Union, and
Yeah.
then it was also good against Duraludon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they would quick shooting Leon Duraludon for wait, unless Duraludon's only 310. I thought it was 320.
330.
It's 330, so they had a quick shooting Leon choice belt,
Yeah.
but they could do it because they're shady dealings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good card. I know like someone like Azul brought it to Worlds because he was afraid of Mewtwo V Union and some other cards, and like Flying Pika.
Yeah.
Pretty strong card. It was definitely niche, I would say, but strong in its own right.
Yeah.
It made the world's list, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Better than Dan.
Leon and his stars.
I picked Nessa. I think it was such a. I mean, water. I think it always has. Support.
It's like one of the weaker water supporters,
Yeah.
but goaded and Frostmoth.
Yeah.
Yeah. To get, I know when Pokemon Go came out, it was Lunito and Solrock. You could Frostmoth for Greninja and 3 water energies every turn for Nessa. Nessa for raiding Greninja
Oh, yeah.
and 3 waters, and you're taking 2 prizes every time because they're not playing Manaphy because they're stupid, right?
You got Manaphy too while you're at it.
Yeah. I think Nessa was good. I know she's really good in like GLC
Yeah.
too. So.
Oh, Douglas hates me.
yeah.
Oh, he hates me.
So bad.
I run a big basic water loop. Oh my god. But again, it's like Leon, where it's strong in
Yeah.
its own right, but it's not like a staple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's gonna do it for supporters. Now we're gonna go into our favorite tools that we're gonna miss. I'm gonna start with Cape of Toughness. I know it's similar to what Jeremy's gonna pick,
Yeah.
but I really liked it in my Mewtwo V Union deck because you put it on the Galarian Meowth and it couldn't get Raiding Greninja because that was kind of the only reason. But then I also played it in my first ever Pokemon deck, Pachirisu Tool. So how that works is you would run the Honchkrow V, and you could hold up to 4 items. So you put all 4 capes on the Honchkrow V for 400 health, and then the Pachirisu would swing for 30 for each tool attached to all your Pokemon. So you put 4 capes on the Honchkrow V and like choice spots on your Pachirisus, you're swing for like 300 damage. Or like Lucky Egg or something. It was me, but it was bad because Lost Box came out and I couldn't play it anymore. But it was funny until like Arceus meta, like Arkansas meta. But yeah, my favorite tool I'm gonna miss is Game of Toughness.
Yeah, my favorite tool is basically almost very similar. It's Big Charm. It's plus 30 HP to Pokemon.
But any Pokemon.
Yeah, to any Pokemon.
Cape was only basic. I don't know if I said that or not.
Yeah, so you would just throw it on your V, so against Giratina, so your lost impacts don't one-shot, although you can still like start wrecking on you. I tried to make Arctina work in Silver Tempest and nothing was sticking. The only way that you could win it was throw Big Charm, throw V-Guard energies, just
Raining Gardevoir.
Raining Gardevoir.
Take the powerful energies real quick.
I just had to force stack it and like. Yeah, it doesn't just make me appreciate Carton more because, and now I'm sad that it's rotating because
it's like, man, get one shot by Miraidon.
Yeah,
by Regieleki Miraidon.
Yeah, that's just how. Yeah, I just playing today because Miraidon gets one shot. Man, I wish I had a Big Chop right now.
All right, Douglas.
For me, it would have to be Air Balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best pivot card.
Ooh, yeah.
Great in Diancie, great in Fluffy Box. You just put a Fluffy on, have the Air Balloon attached.
Yeah.
Comfy because we didn't have Beach Court back then.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Put it on. I used it in Arc Intel. Put it on like an Inteleon, like the quick shooting one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or even just like a random Arceus.
Yeah.
That doesn't need the belt. I know you didn't use it. Arc Duraludon player. You used the Big Charm though.
I did, yeah. There were variations of it, but I think, well, I'll get to it when you know.
Yeah, what is it? Get into it.
Okay, I'll get into it. But you know, once Lugia came out, you had to run the big parasol.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sad.
So what does Big Parasol do?
Pretty much it blocks effects
Of
of attacks.
On all your Pokemon.
Yeah.
As long as
the Pokemon with the big parasol is in the active.
So Sableye.
Sableye was a big one, and
Yveltal.
Yveltal
Yeah.
was rare. And well, I guess Giratina wasn't.
Yeah,
super
Tina as
popular,
well. Yeah.
But, I mean, Tina was still there, but
Like I know Gudra's used it against Tina.
yeah.
Our Gudra players used it. But Sableye was the big one. Of course,
Yeah.
before Lugia came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know someone tried to use it. So there's like that.
Oh, Cry
one.
Destruction as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That one too.
Mew. That's why Mew players ran it.
Mm-hmm.
Zoroark ran it as well.
Yeah. You needed to run it too, so I could stop controlling your dummy.
I already had so many damage counters on.
Oh.
Yeah, Sableye takes out like free knockouts on your Manaphy and stuff. Because you need to protect your Manaphy. Yeah. Because Kyogre was a menace. Aquastorm Kyogre.
Yeah.
All right, stadiums are one of our last categories before energies. I'm gonna go with as the control player, Galar Mine. Both active retreat cost is 2 more, so that's like 2 more energy. That's a lot of retreat costs. So it cancels out Air Balloon. It makes it so you have to use more energy. So it makes them so that they exhaust more resources. And usually wouldn't matter for control because you would sit inactive with like Snorlax. So yeah, Galar Mine will be missed. It would have been cool today with Spit Ops.
Yeah, stop.
Spit Ops EX. But yeah, Galar Mine. Jeremy, what do you have to say for your stadium?
I'm not sure which stadiums matter too much at Rotate. I would just say Rose Tower. It saw some niche play early on, but the main play was during early versions of Mew before playing the paths and everything and like Lost City. But like when they didn't have any stadiums, Rose Tower helped you draw up to like 3 cards, and then you just go from there.
It was also good for control. You run the one of to help draw into your last few cards so you can control correctly. You have all your cards in your hand. But it's very niche.
Yeah,
I feel
very
like
niche stadium.
there's better stadiums out there to play.
Yeah.
I know Douglas has a good one coming up.
Glenwood Tangle.
Yes,
sir. Coin flip cheese decks fun because it added a little bit of consistency.
What did it do?
Glenwood Tangle. It lets you flip a coin again.
From an attack.
From an attack.
Yeah. So if you were to, those attacks were says of a coin, if has do this, and if you flip tails, you can be like, all right, I'm gonna flip again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really funny in decks like Ambipom, and as well as some like Parahax decks. things like that.
Radiant Jirachi.
Radiant Jirachi. Oh my. Oh, what other Aiden? When he got Giga Cheese by Radiant Jirachi and he was tilted for the rest of the night. Oh my gosh. Yeah, fun card.
Yeah.
Definitely will be missed. Imagine if we had it for one trio mill.
Yeah. Oh no! That goes on my deck every turn.
Yeah. That card would be actually I think that card would be busted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good thing some of these cards are getting.
It definitely is. I'm not screwing that. That's not future proof.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
I went with Training Court.
The tried and true. Probably the best
Yeah.
stadium in rotating.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Green was rating Greninja.
Great with,
Oh
I think
gosh.
most decks. I mean, I think if you ran a basic energy,
Another energy retrieval option.
yeah.
That we don't, or energy recovery that we're missing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everyone, like, when trading cards out, everyone's excited. Unless you're a Lugia player, it's like, cool. I
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's on a path.
It's
Cool.
not a temple.
All right, we're moving on to energies. The biggest one, because F Lugia. I'm choosing one that's not future proofed. Twin energy.
Twin energy.
Can attach if it's attached to any Pokemon besides EX or GX or GX or V. It's 2 colorless. Really strong for things like Rogue decks, as well as Radiant Zard was the big one. I know I used it in all my Radiant Zard decks because you can Raihan Radiant Zard plus attach.
Mm-hmm.
So you can Raihan Radiant Zard, Fire Energy, or a Fire Energy. Find the twin, because Raihan was the only few cards that could look for twin energies, right? Because Raihan could look for any card you want. Attach to the Zard, and then Magma Base another energy. You can attack with Zard for 4 energies. Well, they've only taken one when your opponent only taken 1 prize card, which is a huge swing. And then every other turn you would just Clara. So, Clara Loop, Twin Energy, definitely my favorite energy leaving. Sad to see it go, but at the same time, Lugia is still in format, so not that sad.
I chose Hiding Dark Energy. It gave your Dark type Pokemon free retreat. I played a lot of Eternatus early, so that's the only energy I was thinking about. There's Speed Energy, which is pretty cool too, but honestly, I'm just kind of happy that these are rotating. I'm tired of playing against Lugias.
I think every single special energy that's not colorless is rotating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than like the Fusion Strike, Rapid Strike.
Yeah, those don't. Yeah, those are different.
They're like
Yeah.
rainbow.
The different strike energies are
Yeah.
rotating. But all the other basic colored special energies are rotating.
like
so
Wash
which one
Energy.
did you
Which
choose?
brings it to Aurora Energy.
The worst one. I'm just kidding. The best one. The best one. The best one.
Reggie's
the best
ran
one.
it turned so many Pokemon on for Lugia. And
It's what made Reggie's good.
yeah.
And if we had a normal rotation, Reggie's wouldn't be good.
This is what made Lugia good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What set was it from?
Sword Shield base.
It was
Shield
Sword.
base,
We've
yeah.
had it since Sword Shield base.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. So you want to explain what it does?
So you attach it to a Pokemon, and then you have to discard a card from your hand, and it gives 1 energy of any type.
Anything.
Yeah.
It's so strong. Oh my gosh. it was gross how
That's
strong it
pretty
I'm
was.
glad that they're reprinting it, but they nerfed it.
You
Yeah,
could
you
so you can only it can only be attached once, and it can only be the only special energy attached. So you can't run it in Lugia.
Yeah.
Well, no, you can still attach more, but don't.
It'll turn into a colorless
turn it
then.
to a color.
Yeah. So it can't be used in Lugia.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be strong in a lot of Sky Seal Stone decks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think some Lost Boxes are just gonna run one.
Yeah.
I think it's just there to have, right? You can run it with
Yeah.
Zard.
It's gonna be for us the same set of Scramble Energy, so I can see it being very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't. Yeah. For talking about the new energy, I think it'll be good, but it won't be strong.
Yeah.
It'll be niche.
That's why I'm glad it got like a.
Giga nerfed.
Give it, yeah. So it's still there, but not
And
strong.
your special. I think you chose the best one.
I picked Speed Lightning Energy.
Yeah.
Pot agreed.
Lot agreed.
Yeah. I think the draw 2 just busted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Fluffy came out,
Fluffy
it was good.
Box, it was so
Yeah.
Reggie's,
Vikavolt.
Vikavolt,
Oh,
Yeah.
and then when Lugia started using Raikou,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they run the one of,
The
and
one of,
they
yeah.
had Raikou bench, attach it, draw 2.
Yeah. I think it's definitely.
Well, that is our goodbye to D block rotation. What is our thoughts, everyone? Douglas, how do you feel?
Well, I'm not losing much for my decks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I'm more happy that there is rotation than if there wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm way more happy with the cards we're losing than
Yeah.
the cards that. Yeah.
Honestly, you losing Life Shaker Gengar though,
Yeah.
and think about it. If you use the Banette with your reverse Cresselia, That'd be strong.
Like Dedenne EX next.
Oh yeah, Dedenne EX.
So I just use.
Why they make that sidekick, bro? They just give Gardevoir everything. You got Mimikyu, like.
He's getting Alakazam attack from bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for Gardevoir though.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather see Gardevoir than Lugia.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
true.
But even though Lugia's kind of based now.
Yeah, it's trying to make that stage 2 deck strong in like a basic format.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I finally get a free win into it, dude. Oh.
All right, so we're gonna move into post rotation, baby. We're gonna talk about some decks, go over some strong decks, and what we think is gonna happen at EUIC, which is coming up this weekend. Probably one of the biggest tournaments of Scarlet Violet. Before we get our next expansion,
It might be the biggest for just basic Scarlet Violet because I think NAIC is with.
the new set,
Yeah.
3 months,
Paldea
and then we'll have
Yeah.
Worlds.
Yeah.
It's called Paldea Evolved. That's what
Yeah.
it's called.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's that too. Yeah.
Can't
So-
confirm. Yep.
Let's go over decks. Let's start with our winner from Card Art 1K, Lugia. How do we feel?
It's gonna be inconsistent. I mean, Professor Burnett, the fact that
Oh,
has to
yeah.
run
Yeah.
off the 2 Archeops.
And they run 2 of them in there.
Yeah.
Some decks run 2 Burnett.
1 to 2.
So for those of you who don't know, Burnett is search your deck for 2 cards, put it straight to the discard. So you just put Archeops in the discard pile.
It was made for Union pieces, but
Yeah, because it came out in the
It came
Union
out with the
boxes.
Union
boxes,
Yeah,
yeah.
all 3
all
boxes.
All of them got the promo.
Yeah,
And then if you got like the Pikachu one, you got the celebration stamp on
on it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have one of those.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I
Yeah.
have one of those too.
We all have one of those.
I have-
Because you ran V Union, I ran V Union. You just collect the cards. You collect the
Yeah,
cards.
yeah. I got one.
So yeah, Lugia.
I was
Yeah,
surprised.
yeah, you're right though. Inconsistent. Mezagoza, 4 of them. Capture Irma, 4 of them.
Yeah.
Great Ball, top 7.
Yeah.
But it's pretty base when it gets set up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Radiant Serena,
Yeah.
the single strike Pokemon, like just now you gotta dig out your Stonejourner single strikes and your Veltal single strikes.
Yeah.
And the T-Tar Vs, that's kind of cool, honestly.
I'm glad he's getting played.
It's what
Yeah.
Lugia
Yeah.
should have been.
It is what Lugia should have been.
Yeah.
Like I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, Lugia should have just been a colorless attacker because of all the energies.
Yeah.
But we still have single strike and fusion strike energy. I see fusion strike builds. It's so cope.
The Walla
Yeah, the Deoxys, yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on Lugia, Jeremy?
It seems like it's still like one of the highest like power level decks. It just needs to hit a lot head. hit
Yeah.
Mesagosa hits. It's less consistent, but I think the power level is almost the same. The main loss is just not being able to get Velta anymore to get free kill.
Yeah, I think it's at a good point. I mean,
I think it's a
I-
solid.
yeah.
Like,
I
bottom
wasn't
of tier
expecting
1.
I wasn't expecting it to.
I know
be
everyone
this
was.
good.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Because everyone's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's gonna be tier 2. It's good. Like people still respect it. But after seeing it, it's like bottom of tier 1. It's up there.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we don't have a tier 0 deck right now. That's what
Yeah.
I'm glad about. We have a pretty good tier 1, but like high tier 1, like Lost Box is high tier 1. But we don't have a tier 0. It's not like Lugia or like
Yeah.
Palkia and Astral Radiance format.
It's
Yeah.
high in tier 1 because it's hard.
For Lost Box?
Yeah.
Yeah. For Lugia, it's below tier 1 because I don't think it's hard. It's just inconsistent.
It's just,
But it's pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think what really sucks, for my opinion on Lugia, is you can't get the Lumineon off the board anymore.
Yeah,
Lumineon stays
Unless you collapse.
unless you collapse, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool. But they run 4 Mezagoza.
Yeah.
Some lists are running 3 Mezzo, 1 collapse. But from what I've heard and what I've seen, they want to see Mezagoza.
that is true.
Yeah.
Draw into it early, and you're like, that could have been the Mezagoza.
That could have been
Yeah.
an art for your
For
Archeops.
Archeops, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's go with our runner-up. Was Gardevoir runner-up for Card Art 1K?
Yep.
So we have a playtester,
Yeah,
Douglas.
Guardy,
Let's hear from you first.
I'm happy to see Guardy in top. And the list was pretty good, if I remember.
You guys had similar lists, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was the Zacian Sky Seal Stone
Yeah.
list.
I think it's the best one.
Yeah, it's definitely better. I'm surprised to see the Mewtwo Union be like the better one in the late nights, I believe.
They are, yeah.
But I'm looking at the list now. It runs 2 Miriam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't run the they don't run the Clara.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they don't have the Clara.
Yeah, so it's 2 Miriam instead of Clara.
I was talking to him after my round. He said he likes it more. It also draws him more card. Against, I think it was game 2 when I was playing against him. He was pretty much drawing. His hand was pretty much dead, but then he Miriam
Miriam.
for 1 and then drew a Curlia.
Yeah.
Curlia saw another Curlia. It's like, Oh, okay.
And I finally understand the emergency Shelly. You hit with you put 6 energies on the Shining Arcana,
Yeah.
and then you swing into their Comfy, and then
Yeah.
the Cramp can't kill.
Yeah.
I finally figured it out. I was so confused.
Yeah,
And now I understand why they run 2. But some of us are only running 1 because, I don't know, Lost Box is your hardest matchup, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
No matter what
is.
you can do, it's so hard. Dude, the deck is so dumb.
I have to be able to have something beefy on board to block the camp.
And you basically need Rare Candy your second turn of the game.
Yeah.
I guess that's what Arvin is for.
Yeah.
Arvin is for everything.
Arvin's for everything.
Arvin is really nice in post row
Yeah.
because we don't really have a use for Irida. Other than to like grab out mana if you're raiding Greninja. But even that's
Irida's literally only being played in control, I feel like.
Yeah.
You might be wondering why. Some controllers are running Puke, but now that's a liability because there's no skill on that. But there's this new mana feed that popped up. It's a Sword and Shield promo, and I'll talk about it later because we're gonna talk about the deck.
Yeah.
But basically, what it does is it reveals their hand, and then you put bench Pokemon from their hand, which is good because the strongest control card right now is Block Snorlax, which means they can't retreat. Because a lot of decks are running no retreat options right now. Besides Lost Box. Gardevoir, why would you need to run retreat, you know?
Yeah,
but that was the same mindset as Lugia back in the day, back in the day, like 2 months ago. Alright. Let's talk about Lost Box. Let's put Tina and Lost Box in the same genre. What do we think about Comphase?
It's gonna be the 40%.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than Lugia, huh?
More than Lugia.
Because I think, well, of course they're gonna separate Lost Box with Tina, but if we're talking just in terms of Comphase decks, it's gonna be like EOIC meta like 40-45%.
45,
Yeah, definitely.
You're gonna see that nice split between Tina, Gudra, and
Oh, and we're adding in Gudra? It's gonna be 45%.
Yeah.
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 Gudra might be like 5%.
because I know for most regionals that's what they do.
Yeah.
You see Gudra, you
Oh,
see
yeah.
Tina.
And then Lost Zone Toolbox. It's
Yeah.
called Lost Zone Toolbox, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the Gudra one's actually really good. It's just that I think they didn't see play at all in Japan was because Giratina was so popular and
There's no more big Paracel.
Yeah, so you get 1 kill and then if you just see like 1 rope, you will be able to like just get the other one. So
Yeah.
matchup against Giratina, but now that people realize that the regular Lost Box deck beats the Tina, there
Yeah.
might be decrease in Tina and then Gudra will
And
just come
Gudra
back
is
up.
really good into the Gardevoir.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's gross into Gardevoir. I've seen a playtest video on it. It's really gross.
Yeah.
And it's gross into Miraidon, too. Gudra's gross, okay?
Gudra's actually really good.
Gudra, cause I think people just aren't playing Gudra because they're afraid of Tina.
Yeah.
But Tina's becoming less and less popular by the
But
minute.
Tinas are scared of Lost Box.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go a little bit faster. We're already an hour and 40 minutes in. We're gonna go with Arc decks. Any Arc decks. Arc Tina, Arc Pika, Arc Duraludon.
Yeah.
Just standard. I think they want to wait till Iona comes out.
Yeah. I
It's
think
pretty cool.
Yeah.
There is one arc deck that I do want to see a lot more of. The Arc Gallade.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Buddy Catch Glade?
Buddy
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically Arc Intel. The new Arc Intel.
It's a new
with
Arc
some
Intel.
corners and you can
Yeah,
use it
Because
when-
with Arc decks, they want boss every turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They either want boss or Roxanne or Judge every turn.
Yeah.
But when they miss it, and it
I
sucks.
feel like it's gonna come out more when like Iona comes up. So you just have the Buddy Catch RTS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Iona comes out, I feel like it's gonna start feeling like a Zoroark GX meta, where you're locking out things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Iona Klefki or Hit and Run. Dude, Hit and Run Klefki might be the play. But Arc decks, I feel like are just a solid tier 2 right now.
There's there too. I feel like they'll place well, but like I don't think they're. I think the power ceiling is not high enough to win an event. But
And let's talk about something that should be in tier 3. Miraidon. Look, it's good on paper. It hits such good numbers like Calyrex.
Yeah.
But then you're putting VMAXs on your bench, and you know you can't have room for Flaffy because it gets Sableye, and E-Generator's RNG. I mean, it's cool. Like, what they did with Miraidon is cool.
Yeah.
It's better than Koraidon, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's just so inconsistent. It
Is that
feels...
soft?
It's so
It
weird
is
because
a
it
thing.
looks consistent, right? You look at the deck, you're like, wow, it's so cool. And then you play it, and you're like, wow, I'm bricking.
It's the only deck that runs like multiple arms because you need to see those generators.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like on paper, this deck looks so broken, but when you play out, you just realize you just lose to random stuff. Like you just see if you like get path turn 1 by a Mew or Arc player, it's like, oh, how did I play through this? See my 3 stadiums in my opening hand. if you miss your energy, it feels bad. If you like,
Yeah.
if your Flaffy gets knocked out by Sableye, it feels bad. It's like, oh, it just leads to a lot of random small stuff. So it's like, yeah,
Well, Armor Rouge helps with missing out first energy. Actually, that came up in one of my games yesterday.
yeah.
I Magma based into a Charcadet, Armor Rouged up, and then DTE hit on my second turn with E-Star power.
Yeah.
But still, Arceus decks feel so slow still. I remember they felt so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in order to feel fast, you have to slow down the game as an Arceus player, whether that be Judge or when
Yeah.
Iona comes out.
You just need to set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Arc, you need to set up, and then you
Or
need
like
to.
using Duraludon or Pika.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that covers for most of our meta calls.
Is there. Oh, Mew.
Mew.
Yeah.
I think it's tier 1 still.
Mew, Drapion still in format.
Yeah, but Judge Path is so gross.
Yeah, I think.
And
I
then
would say-
some Mew players love to get Drapion because then they run 2 to 3 Roxannes. Like
Yeah.
at least 2. They run at least 2 now.
Yeah.
Before they ran 1, but now they run at least 2.
Yeah, so they hit the Drapion and they just lock you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost it to the Drapion, and now you're Roxanne to death.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was surprised to see 2 Mews.
3 Mew players,
3 Mew.
3 player
Well,
yesterday.
3, but 2 in the top 8.
2 in top 8,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's where I was like, oh dang.
I think the only reason why it was so low in Japan is because people are coping that it's not good anymore.
Yeah.
It also might be only like basically top players can play it because
Oh.
the Cramomatics are
$80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$80 Cramomatics. And I don't think a lot of people, casual players.
Yeah, how come
want
they
to-
don't have the league battle decks? For
Yeah.
me? What happened there?
Man, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That's,
control players. I know there's a Spidops player there, but they didn't do
Yeah.
too well because it's Spidops.
I think they were at the top table. I remember my round 5, they were top tables, but then
They lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. The card's fun.
Yeah, I think
But I
she ran
think
Leafeon.
Leafeon
Yeah,
VMAX.
they're-
It's the
yeah,
best card to
they're
run out
Leafeon.
with.
Yeah.
Or you just hit with the Spidops. But the
Yeah.
Greeting Cells is really strong. But I'm going to test a lot with Block Snorlax and Klefki with the Misfortune Sisters and the Camping Gear. Camping Gear kind of replaces the Gormandize to end your turn.
Yeah.
You guys see me play. We'll see how it goes with the Manaphy and stuff. But we'll have to see what standard pulls out UIC.
Yeah.
So let's talk about UIC, the biggest tournament of the Scarlet Violet set. Let's talk about meta call. So we're thinking 40-45 for Lost Box or Lost Zone decks.
So any conflict, yeah.
Yeah, Lost Zone decks. What you call a Lost Zone deck?
Yeah.
What we're thinking Lugia. I'm thinking a solid 8%.
I
I'll say 10.
I'd say
Yeah, okay.
I think it's slightly higher.
I think Mew would be higher.
I think Mew is the second most popular.
Yeah. Really?
Behind all the
Behind Guardy?
I think it'll be ahead of Guardy. I feel like Mew is so.
People will test it up to see if Guardy's better.
Yeah.
I think Marion's going to be 2%.
They would be like,
I feel like our big
Yeah.
majorities are
I
going
feel
to
like-
Open Box and Maridon for at least day 1.
For day 1, yeah. Because
day
everyone loves Maridon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I feel like too many
that
people are like,
drops-
I got lucky, so
Yeah.
I think it's good. And then just gonna go with
I
it,
think-
and then you brick, and it's like...
I think for top 8, I think it's going to be all Mew. Like, deadass. I think it's going to be like maybe 1 Guardy and like 4 Mew. And then like maybe 1 Rogue deck and like 3 Lost Box. I think no Tinas are making top 8.
I don't
think
think-
it's
yeah.
mostly Lost Box and like 1 Tina. Then 1
Yeah.
Tina.
I just don't think Tina's good.
I think there'll be a lot of Artina in top 64, but like maybe 1 makes it at most. I feel like that deck is like you'll eventually see 1 round where you just don't
Bunch-
like 2 games in a row we just don't see anything. So
I
it's
just feel like Arc fully depends on judges. You know what I'm
um,
saying? I feel like for Arc deck to do well, they just have to get energy attachment and then just prey on judge.
Yeah. Oh, for Artina, you're just seeing boss. You just have to go.
Yeah,
like-
boss game.
Yeah. But for a lot of the other Arc decks, like Arc Pika, Arc. I'm not sure about Arc Dura, but I feel like Arc Dura is actually really good because.
You have the Pokegears that just help you find the boss.
Yeah.
which I
Pokegears
think-
are pretty strong.
Yeah.
Some
definitely
Lost Box are
think-
running it.
Yeah, I feel like after a while, Duraludon, if you're still in the match,
Yeah.
if you're still in the match, because you get rid of all your energy from the deck.
Yeah, but I feel like when people I feel like instead of Arc Dura, you might as well just play Arc Pika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
Because what does Arc Dura really do? It's just Lugia. But Arc Pika also kills
Yeah.
Lugia too.
Yeah.
So just Tyranitar is a little bit of an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's. Yeah.
Yeah. It's rough. Dura's getting it rough, but you're making it work.
I'm
so.
making it work. Yeah. I'm trying to. I think I'm just sticking to like Lost City and just.
Yeah, you did put a
Yeah.
Lost City in your deck. Yeah.
I think there'll be 1 like Arc Dura that does well.
Little-
I
There's
feel like-
always one Arcturus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Arcturus-
somehow ends
yeah.
up day 2.
like
yeah.
freaking Grant or something.
Yeah, it's
you know?
gonna be Grant or
Yeah.
They got
Christian, yeah.
the 1 Arc Dura player that just queues into all Lugias. And you
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah. All, cue with all the EU Lugia players.
Yeah.
What are we thinking about Reggie's? The basic energy Reggie's deck with two
next
gifts.
set. And maybe
Next set.
Next set. Yeah, next.
with the one rainbow energy.
Ooh, one deck we haven't
It
talked
might
about.
be interesting with the new scramble.
Yeah.
One deck we haven't talked about is the Rapid Strike box.
Oh.
I'm building that. By the way, I don't know if I told you that. I'm building it.
I told you, yeah. Because Chun hit the Yoga Loop
Yeah.
his last game.
Yeah, he hit it.
Yeah.
I think it's strong, and I think it's okay when they lose a VMAX because they have 2 Roxannes in the deck, 1 to 2 Roxannes, and they take extra turns with Yoga Loop because there's no scuba nets, right? I know one. I didn't know Yoshida brought Penny to card art. He's the only Lost Box that brought Penny, I think. Maybe one other person. But it's a little bit interesting to see how Penny's going to be used because I thought it was going to be mainly a control card. But maybe if Rapid Strike does well at EUIC, maybe that's the deck that makes top 8, the rogue deck I was talking about. Because if it does well at EUIC, people are going to start putting pennies in their deck. For Lost Box, that is.
Big Bear Stomps are going to go back up.
Yeah, Big Bear.
People are going to be trying to dig for those League Battle decks.
Yeah, I'm glad I held on to my TG Big Bears. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright,
I think that's pretty much it. We're almost hitting that 2-hour mark.
yeah.
And we can't upload anything longer than 2 hours. So.
Final prediction. What deck do you think is gonna win EUIC?
Gonna win? I think it's gonna be Lugia.
Lost Box.
He's going with the safe choice. I'm going with the copium choice. I think it's gonna be Lugia or Mew. Really, I think so.
I think it might be Mew.
Yeah.
I think I'm on Mew.
I'm gonna go Mew. Yeah.
Mew, yeah.
I think after seeing it, yeah.
After how well Julian did, and he misplayed a lot,
Yeah.
it's pretty strong.
Especially because he said
It's
a
so
lot of people cut Drapion.
It's so forgiving.
Yeah.
The deck is really forgiving, because it only lost Quick Ball and Paracel,
But then you also Feather Ball.
Yeah, you have
which
Feather
kinda
Ball.
and then
gets
they
you-
replaced it with Feather
Yeah.
Ball. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's so easy for it to just like the switcher deck, the switcher build. It's so easy to target things down.
Yeah.
Target the Gardevoir down.
Target Stabilize?
Stabilize. That's their hardest matchup.
Yeah.
But for like the switcher up, like Artie or switcher up Alekis and stuff like that, and just 4 tablets swing, and they dig through their deck pretty fast.
I mean, they also have the Silene loop, right? So they.
And then if they are having a strong, if they aren't confident in the Lost Box, then they're running the Deoxys build.
Oh yeah.
They don't they don't even run Meloetta in that build.
Which
They just run 2 Deoxys.
just run 2 Deoxys.
Yeah.
There.
Because they can't get cramped.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, can't
Yeah.
get cramped.
it. Just can't get cramped. That's the only reason.
Because what they do, they fusion, they Elisa's and then Twin Energy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
DT. Yeah.
DT kills it too, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's their best thing against Lost Box.
Yeah. That's okay. What rogue deck do you think is gonna be
Rogue
the
deck,
best?
I think Reggie's might do something.
I don't think.
Really? No. I'm gonna wait till that energy thing up.
Yeah.
Single Rapid Strike box.
Rapid
Yeah,
Strike?
Rapid Strike
It's
box.
gotta be, yeah. I feel like people are like sleeping on it.
I think it's better than Arctura. It has a better chance than Arctura.
Yeah.
I think the struggle about Rapid Strike box is of course Lugia. Mew is not so bad because they run 2 Drapion, but I think Lugia is gonna be pretty because they just Tyranitar. Well, Tyranitar is weak to fighting, huh?
I think weak to grass.
Oh, never mind. Yeah,
It's weak
no.
to grass.
Yeah, Lugia is gonna be pretty hard for
Yeah.
Rapid Strike box. What do you think, Rogue deck?
Rogue deck? Do you consider Gudra rogue? Or-
Yeah, we consider Jugudra Rogue.
If not,
Come on, how many
say
Gudras have we seen recently?
I say either Gudra. If not, I say Miraidon's probably a rogue deck.
Yo,
Zero
Julian is
Thousand
like the
Japan.
Gudra king, and he hasn't even played it yet.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Douglas, what do you think? Rogue deck, Zoro box, anyone?
Zoro Box with like the mouse hold.
No. I think you're a believer in Armor Rouge, right? Like a random Armor Rouge
Ooh.
deck.
Random Armorer's deck. I think Arc Delphox is
Yeah,
considered a rogue deck.
Yeah, but Delphoxes are being more played now in Lost Box
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it also accelerates their loss.
It's
for
just
Sigma.
Raikou. It's just
It's Raikou. It's Raikou on a 2 presser.
Raikou players, I feel like are gonna go down the Delphox.
Sky
Zard
Seal
route.
Stone, yeah. Delphox Zard, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, do they run Armor Rouge? No, they just run Mirage Gates, right?
Yeah.
It's so lame, dude. They run Magma Basin. I know they run Magma Basin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of the beach court.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rogue deck, what do you think? Gia?
I'm gonna say Gudra.
Is it Gudra?
Yeah. I think it's.
That thing might roll. Yeah, if there's no Tina players.
Gudra's been doing really good.
Just
Gudra players
wall-
have been
you just
figuring out
wall,
the deck
like,
more and more.
lost-
Yeah.
Lost box.
It's scary.
You literally roll Lost Balls.
Yeah,
Like, you
roll
can't do
lost
anything
balls.
about
I mean, that's 40% of your matchup. Like, come on.
But if Tina
If Tina's there,
is
though,
like 20%, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot less Tina players in like the West than there are in Japan, so I feel like Gudra will have an easier time in like EUIC than they would in like
Yeah.
a Japanese event,
Yeah.
which we didn't see much Gudra for for like the majority of the time.
We'll just have to wait and see. That is going to be the end of episode 3 of the Donbozos podcast. I hope you guys all enjoyed. And shout out to Tofu's Trading for letting us record here in person. Usually Jeremy goes home, but he wanted to stay for the Carter at 1K. So we asked Gio's manager if he could let us record here. So come check out Tofu's Trading here in San Jose, California, next to the San Jose State University campus. It's walkable. So yeah, they got everything here. They got Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, really cool events for Pokemon VGC, Pokemon TCG. That's on Fridays and Sundays, as well as you can just come and hang out, say hi to Gio for us, as well as say hi to us on Sundays. And yeah, so check out Tofu's Trading, pretty much everywhere on Discord on Discord, at Instagram.
Yeah.
They do a lot of giveaways as well as online breaks, so you can buy cards from them, and they're reliable and they have everything priced fairly, which is important here in the Pokemon community. And yeah, you can come by and play in this practice area whenever you guys like, and as long as you're friendly and whatnot.
Yeah.
You try not to get, you don't want Gio to kick you out. Yeah. But yeah, come look at their art they got on the wall and all their Pikachu set up here. So thank you to Tofu's Trading for having us here, and make sure you drop by their Instagram and say hi to Gio and whatnot. Jeremy, any closing remarks?
I think that's it. We covered a pretty long episode this week especially compared to last week.
Yeah. Douglas and Gio, thank you for being on the show. Glad to have you guys. And thank you for keeping up with the Pokemon TCG and stuff like that. And you guys are great fun to play with. Anything you guys have to say to the podcast before we hang out or before we get off?
Besides, thanks for having us. I think.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, guys. See you guys next week for when we talk about LCS finals as well as preparing for MSI and EUIC, of course. Yeah.